Alright, I'll hit go live now.
Are you feeling alright there, Stuart? You're looking a bit pale.
Feeling a little animated today.
Oh, are you? I can't tell. You're not moving. Stuart, are you okay? You're not moving. Stuart,
I'm good.
Stuart, if you can hear me, blink. No, I think I saw it. Ah, that's fine.
Hi guys, welcome back.
Hello.
It's time for the mid-season, end of mid-season, episode 10 thing, part 2.
Yes. Boy, what a world we get. 20 episodes per season, and even more seasons. What a treat. If only it wasn't half a year in between. That'd be great. Because how can they lose on this cliffhanger, Stuart? Come on. No? Okay. Yeah. Ugh. Prodigy team. What are you doing? Just release the next 20. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. We won't tell. Oh wait, we have a review show. Oh dear. I should log into. Long to live see who is here today to join us for this end of half season half finale, and hopefully you guys will be interested and have some great comments. We're supposed to be a little bit longer one today, hence we're going earlier. And obviously we've done a lot of content, a lot of filmed content, a lot actually, as we tend to do for season finales. So make sure you tune in because each one of them has had some really interesting things said. So yeah, make sure you don't miss those.
Absolutely. And we got some super chats already. Ozzy throws in $5.
My God.
The cat killed General Grievous. Rest in peace. Janeway's ship is awesome. Admiral Janeway.
Sorry, General Grievous.
And yeah. Spoilers, much. Way to lead off, Ozzy. Good job.
I tried so hard with non-spoiler thumbnails.
I know.
At least until, the stuff we have to talk about comes out, because you can't not, But I've seen other articles to show the end scene. So, I mean, Yeah.
Mark Lawrence throws in $5.
Mark Lawrence.
Thank you so much, Mark.
Thank you.
So our villain had to jump backwards in time at least 67 years. I wonder what they'll show in regards to that.
It's going to be the question.
Yeah.
We've certainly pondered it a good amount already. As if we like Star Trek or something.
What's that? Never heard of Star Trek.
Star tracking across the universe?
Oh look, we got a bot already. Alright guys.
Right, so I'm going to go share, and I just gave you live action, Stuart.
Here.
So I'll see you in a minute, and I'll just have a quick little, a face break. Just ignore my expression.
Yeah.
But still a commander, though. Yay, commander represent.
Nice reveal. Alright. Thank you guys for super chatting, Mark and Ozzy. Much appreciated. You guys can also hit that like button. Everybody hit that like button if you can. We'd really appreciate it. I'm looking forward to discussing this today. See, I got my Trekyards fancy future badge on. It is the Trekyards one. It's a little bit shiny. I need to hit this with a dull coat. But hey, whatever. If you want to support the channel, help us out, get your voice heard, because we do read them all online. By all means, super chat. We'd really appreciate it. Or you can send a PayPal to trekyards@hotmail.com. Just let us know in the regular chat that you sent the PayPal, and we will read your comment or question via the email from PayPal. That's another way to help us out. Also, hitting that join button. We have quite a few members of the channel, which is awesome, at different tiers, different ranks. And that's like a monthly way to support us. Or you can also head on over to Patreon/Trekyards as another way as well. Also, there's lots of links down below, affiliate links for Eagle Moss and things like that. Also, the Teespring and the TeePublic store to get yourself some cool Trekyards merch. We have some really cool shirts and things available, so if you guys want to check those out, by all means, go take a look right now and throw them in your cart, because TeePublic does a lot of sales that are like 35% off, which is great, actually. So if you're able to throw the stuff in your cart and save it till when the sale is announced. So we'll announce the sale when it happens. Then you can save yourself some money. So lots of great ways to support us and the channel. So if you can, please do so. Also like the video, as I said, subscribe, and just make sure you click the notification bell icon to all so you get notified when we do these lives or when we do any other video breakdowns. We do a lot of small content videos, talking about the tech and the ships and the uniforms, and you know how we do things here. So make sure you're notified of those so you don't miss anything. So yeah. And look, Commander's back. You guys don't even realize it, but he's back.
Oh my god.
See? Told you.
Look, we're sharing the screen with the other us. Oh my god.
With the other us's.
How do we look, everybody?
We look great.
Yeah. Thank you, obviously, to Brienne, who also did these ones, our ever great lower deck style animated. So I challenged her to, you know, well, we did have a little bit with concepting, but to recreate the Prodigy style new uniform, but in the lower deck style, because that's just the way you gotta do it. Do you think? Do you like it more now you've seen yourself in it?
Sure.
Oh.
Yeah, it looks good. I like the uniform. I do. I do like it.
He converted a little bit.
You should shrink that down like vertically so you can see the top and bottom of the L-cars though. SPS Guru 2000 throws in €5. So thank you so much.
€5.
Loved baby Tiana decapitating Dreadnought. Needed an action movie one-liner though. Want to know
Baby
how
Yoda,
you got these scars? Or
Oh.
scratch one bogey. That's a good one.
Fair. Scratch one. That's pretty good.
Her.
I don't know.
Her,
I was not thrilled about that scene, but
Adamantium claws.
yes. We'll get there. We will get there. So I'm gonna start with the poll though.
Yes. This is the way. So did Picard tell the badge designers, you showed me a future with these cool badges, I made a drawing? Well, to be fair, there's like 4 instances of these future badges showing up in Trek. So it is kind of like a natural progression of how the badge should go, I guess. And yeah, so yeah, it is what it is. Depends on the timeline, depends on the universe.
Yes. And do read the poll when you see it, Stuart.
I will. When I say, did you prefer Immortal Star Part 1 or 2? Part 1, the setup, my fave. Part 2, the payoff, my fave. What about the choice equally?
Well, yes, that would have been...
Donnie's going to ask, so
that is a fair point this time. But I don't know if you can like them both the same. They're so radically different. I mean, I find most things tend to be 51, 49% if you have to vote on one. You know, we always have a favorite Star Wars or a favorite Star Trek film. You know.
Dave asks, spoilers allowed? Yes, that's what these reviews are all about. We do the complete breakdown scene by scene.
It'd be hard to do a 2-hour review without spoiling every single frame of it. Probably impossible. Oh god, can you imagine redacted? Every frame is blurred. So in this scene, so it's like if you've watched it, you know. If you haven't watched it, you might not want to watch it.
Yeah, but yes, definitely spoilers. So
filled to the brim. But guys, put in your initial thoughts. I would ask what you're wearing. You never wear black shirts. It's it's really unusual. But I'll talk about it at the end because I'm sure at that point the black shirt will become clear. Maybe you're a Section 31 man. Oh my god. Yeah, McGee.
I see you. This is the Trekyards version. Shiny. I gotta dull coat these. Now that my model setup is done, I can actually get some stuff done now. So
excellent. You mean that 350 scale?
Shut up. Everybody's been asking me about that. All my friends are like, now that you got everything set up, you're gonna finish that? It's like, well, so they're in a box, so maybe.
I mean, that's good. They're in a. Wait, no, they're already in a box.
Eugene throws in 5,000 rubles.
And that's about $50, which is phenomenal. And we haven't heard from you for a little while, so great to see you back. What do you think? 'Cause I'm eager to know.
He says, well, long time no see.
Yeah.
It always holidays, then scheduling conflicts. Oh, okay, so it was the holidays and then scheduling conflicts. My opinions about second arc, basically meh, whatever. It's a bit more Star Trek-ish than the first one, but editing is rough and graphics look cheap.
Oh my god.
Looks cheaper.
Well, I said to you previously that the first two were clearly like really polished, really high end, because they wanted to get people in, and they clearly got a bit more, not rushed. That's the wrong word, but it's more like getting it produced rather than focusing on single frames for the next few. Because at the end of the day, you've got to make them, and that's okay. So I wouldn't say cheap. I still think it looks rather nice. Certainly, the artwork is fantastic. The set design and all that stuff.
And Keith Morgan says, I can see Zero in the captain's badge. I'm going mad. Yes, that's why I got to dull code it. That's why I got to dull code it so it's not shiny.
That's
maybe you
fair.
can see Samuel in my badge and go mad.
I mean, yeah.
No, okay. Put that away now. All right, so, yeah. I guess we should just get into this.
Stuart, what do you think of Season 1, Part 2, closing season, half arc parter of 1.5? The end of the, for some reason, the end of the, what's his name? Diviner arc. Maybe. Or not. Who knows? We don't know. We might know. Who knows?
You really quite finished. I thought it was all right. Problem with Prodigy is they've set the bar so high that it's hard to each week just improve. You're going to have a few bumps in the road. I think this was a little bit of a bump in the road, as it was kind of an all right payoff, but they really didn't have much of a plan. And when you actually break it down, it's like, what were they thinking? They got lucky a few times, and overall, I think it was just meh. Except for that last little bit of the episode was pretty interesting. It's like, all right, that sets up the second half of the season. Awesome. So excited to see how that plays out. But overall, it was just kind of a for me. As a whole, the two parts, yeah, they're a lot better as like one thing, but it was kind of a letdown as far as part 2 went, in my opinion. So,
well,
that's where I'm at.
And can you go into what you might have been expecting that this then let you down on?
I expected them to have a plan. Their plan was to put the Protostar in Murph and then get everybody on the Rev 12, I guess. There was no like this, where she even says, she'll buy us some time for this crazy plan to work. It's like, okay, what's the crazy plan? The whole thing with the translators and the manacles was just luck. Dreadnought showing up and then easily getting defeated was luck. Like, there wasn't a plan per se. So I wanted something a little bit better in that regard, but they are still kids, so they thought they had a good plan. They took care of stuff on the ship with the Janeway program, I guess, and that was helpful, but I don't know. I wanted something a little bit more exciting than what we got. And Dreadnought shouldn't have been taken out that way. He got taken out like a bitch, so not cool. I don't know. How about you? What did you think of it as far as a part 2 goes?
And obviously, I rewatched them just before. I hadn't watched it since we did our review. We've done all of our discussions since, so that was very much my first reaction. Yeah, it's like I said, I like the phrase expectations, because they did reach a really high bar with some of their ideas, and I think I liked it. I don't dislike any of them. The end 30 seconds really massively helped. Really helped bring the bar at the end. But this certainly felt like a season finale. We successfully defeated both villains of season 1. We're going to Starfleet, and there's now a season 2 threat. So end of season 1 vibes, and yet it's not. But to defeat the Diviner so quickly and relatively effortlessly made him feel like an underwhelming villain now, retroactively. His plan was also massively flawed. Not very intelligent. Dreadnought, why was he ever a threat, etc. When you have a show this short and you need to you need to resolve things, you often have the inability of having time to actually play any substantial complexity. I found myself in the second watch, and I felt the same in the first watch, but I forgot I'd felt it when we did our review, that all of the stuff in the initial, get to the engine room, reactivate the warp core, and all the robots bashing into the door, super unengaging. I just didn't... It was not interesting to me. It wasn't very well shot. It wasn't very... It felt like filler to me, even though it's made of plot stuff, because I knew they were going to fix it. The interesting stuff was the diviner on the ship. So everything else felt like they're going to be fine. This is all just procedural. Don't really care that much. So once those first 6 minutes are out, it gets more interesting. But then the divine stuff is such a payoff and yet not. And then he gets defeated. It's like, oh. And then you have this quite cathartic end, and then you have a better end after it. But there's a big sense of finality as well, so it's a very oddly paced thing, and I can't imagine they thought it was actually a season 1 end, because you can't build a show, they didn't get a 4-season commission, that's unheard of, right? So it was a 2-season, 20 episode. But it's such an odd construction. And again, it sort of suffers from being such a long-form story that they couldn't do enough. But to have sort of defeat the Diviner, give or take, this early, super strange. Super strange.
Yeah, but did you enjoy it, though?
Well, as with every single one for the last few, I've enjoyed it more the second time because I had no expectations.
Yeah.
When I'm like, well, they're not going to do this, I enjoyed it more. But it's good because of the end. It's good because of the promise of more. It feels more like a Discovery Season 2 episode where the episode's fine, with a couple of things that's like, yeah. But what's coming is better. It's like they almost had to get through the Diviner story arc to get to the better stuff. And that's a problem. Also, when you don't use Pog at all, Gwen is relatively unused except her little bits of, oh, Dad, Janeway's, again, relatively... They got a moment, but there's almost too many characters now to have them have engaging parts in such a small episode when we want to know about the Diviner, but it pulls away from everyone else.
See...
Yeah.
I don't think we're totally done with the Diviner yet. We're going to see more of that. And I think, as far as his plan goes, one of the things that occurred to me this afternoon was, what if his plan is to have vehicle replicators or whatever create dreadnoughts on every Starfleet ship and take over?
A virus, and he means his friend is a virus.
Yeah.
Well, not if he can get stabbed by a cat. I don't think phaser rifles going to have much of a problem against that.
That's true. That's true.
It's just so strange. There needed to have been a complete reversal where the Divine and Dreadnought were able to beam away and get on a Rev 12 secondary craft and warp away or something. Some epic mustache twirling, Dr. What's it called? Chaotica. What's his name? Is it Dr. Chaotica?
Yes.
Yeah, Chaotica kind of mustache twirling. I'll be back. Like that almost needed it, but end on such a finality. At least they'll go into Starfleet, which is great. That's a nice touch. They're at least progressing that forward. And yeah, whereas the Diviner, is Dreadnought really dead or not? I mean, his head got taken off, but what does that really mean as a robot? Yeah, it's yeah.
And was it actually him? Did they replicate one with the vehicle replicator, and he's the one that got his head cut off, and then Dreadnought is actually on the Rev 12 with the Unwanted right now that's going to come back and get the Diviner at some point. I don't know how it's going to play out, but yeah. Okay. Good to know. So guys, vote in the poll. We want to see what you like better, part 1 or part 2. If I had to pick, I'd say part 1 was better for me, and then like the last 30 seconds, personally. But
well, I also felt like the crew had a big shout in the first one. There was a real forward momentum feeling in the first one. This one, I mean, even just the fact that narratively you have the Diviner leave and then come back, as if the tension is now he's back, but the tension was he left. He sort of undid all of the power of the first one. Like, he knew he was coming back, but it wasn't even in an impressive way. And to have Delos beam in through the shields, took out that, why didn't you just... Oh, and also one thing that we noticed while doing the rewatch, and it's actually a genuine plot hole as well, is that they turned on the Watchers, the robots with laser beams.
Mm-hmm.
They disappear for the entire other half of the episode after they knock out one, despite there being presumably hundreds, if not thousands, left that would have stopped them at any other given time, like even on the ship. So as soon as they take over the ship, they should be being attacked by swarms. I mean, there's hundreds of robots trying to kill them, but they just completely ignore that plot point. I don't introduce this if you're not going to use them. He never turns them off. They never turn them off. It's not in the dialogue. It's not even implied. So that was a real letdown of like, well, you can't just throw away a plot element that big. I mean, it's fine if you have phasers. It's fine if you just arm everyone. Like remember they brought like a kit of phasers. Just hand all the people a phaser and just have a scene of just phasering through a corridor. Yeah, they're fighting their way through. It's fine. But just to ignore them, even though you set them up, is bad.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. I never considered that they were still on the rampage.
It's a prison colony with like hundreds and maybe even thousands of these droids that have laser beams. I know it's a kids show, but you need one line of dialogue, and you have to come on, make it 26 minutes, make it 27. You have 27 minutes. Just
freaking laser beams attached to their heads.
I mean, yeah, we'd have dolphins, but laser beams. Yeah.
Ooh, cetacean ops, dolphins with.
Yeah.
Anyway, Dave throws in £5.
Thanks, Dave.
Loved that all 4 founding species of coalition of planets on the bridge in the last scene. Should Janeway be called Captain per naval tradition? I don't know. One thing I do want to point out, though, is that apparently she is a vice admiral and not an admiral.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, good to know.
One step to the Admiralty. I thought she was a full admiral in Nemesis. I don't know why she would take always a vice admiral higher. I thought vice admiral's lower. Yeah, it's easily Googleable, obviously, but
depends on the service. Probably there's probably different ones, but
I did like also having the. I mean, what I don't think Trill's the 4th founding. Well, I guess Was there a? There wasn't a Vulcan. There wasn't a Vulcan on the bridge.
There's no Vulcan. No,
no, there's no Vulcan. But yeah, that's Chakotay's crew, seen but not heard. Remember when they credited that cast for every episode of on IMDb, and we're like, well, everyone else were like, yeah, they're not in that many. Turns out they're not even in part 1 of season 1. So Chakotay's barely in it.
Eric Martin, $5.
Hey.
I finally got time to watch part 2, so I'll go be underwhelmed so I can vote. LOL.
That's it.
Okay, Eric. I Am Misi throws in $5.
Thank you.
The robot thing is part of why this episode felt so rushed. Yeah.
And also a vice admiral is in between admiral, which is a higher rank, and rear admiral is a lower rank. So it's a middling admiral.
So it is a promotion from admiral. Cool.
No, admiral's higher. Rear admiral's below it.
Oh.
So what was Janeway in Endgame? Nemesis.
Just an admiral, I think.
Which means higher than.
I don't know.
But I mean, we've said before, it's probably alternate universe her, given the time travel aspect. So yeah, it's fun if she became admiral at different points in her career in different timelines. That's all good. I'm all for that.
Dave says there was a Vulcan in the background to the left. Oh, one of the consoles. Yeah. Okay. Dave also puts in £2.
Thank you.
He says, with those claws, Tiana and Shax is hardcore.
Yeah. I like that. Admiral Janeway.
So guys, go in the poll. We have 55 votes, 65 of you here, and 41 likes. Hit that like button. Another 9 likes to get to 50 would be great. A Saucy Puppet Show throws in $5, so thank you so much.
Still a great name.
Agree about the engine room scene seeming like filler. I thought Rock's I'm more than just muscle thing was put to bed in time amok. Well, she also learned all these skills, quantum mechanics and lots of math. And I love that she actually took over from Jankum Pog. I think that was funny. That, he's the engineer. She had an idea and he's like, you do that. I'll hold the door. Because, she's spent all this time. We don't know how long. Could be months, could be years.
Well, it's not going to be months, is it, though, with that much knowledge?
Well, if she's a prodigy, she could learn stuff really quick.
And turns out
that's what the show's called, Prodigy.
Yeah, it turns out, yes, she was a what was it called? The other admiral ranking Nemesis, They just call her Admiral without. But she was what was it? Was a
Rear Admiral?
yeah. She's a no, not no the I closed it. Vice Admiral. She's a Vice Admiral in Nemesis apparently. Says Memory Alpha. I mean, yeah. Which I mean makes sense though. I mean, two sets of pip, one set half pips, Vice Admiral, double pips, full Admiral. Makes sense.
Yeah, and it's like lieutenant commanders are just called commanders a lot. So.
And why would she get three promotions to Admiralty from like 2 years, 4 years after Janeway they get home? You know, I think two into Admiral is good enough. You don't need 3 in. But, still an Admiral.
Was Kirk a full Admiral in Wrath of Khan? Yes, I believe he was.
Yeah. But also, and then answer the question of should she have been called a captain in charge? Like, it's not the Navy. Maritime rules only counts the maritime. This is Starfleet rules. I mean, based on it, but doesn't actually follow all the strict structure of the rules because this, it's not. Yeah,
this is a amalgamation of all of the different military forces of multiple planets. So.
Yeah.
Let's see. SPS Guru 2000 puts in €5. Thank you so much. Maybe Rock Talk species ages really slowly, like the Yoda's. Baby Yoda is 50 years old and still a toddler.
Yeah, we assume so. I mean, same with the voice being the same. That's an obvious assumption. No, that's definitely what I assumed. But it's all relative. Like you say, if the whole point is that a natural ability in science was never. They were born. I think they said the born, or at least they only ever knew that place, the Tasmamora. So if you suddenly have knowledge, then all of a sudden learning it, experiencing it, maybe has the innate ability to do all those things. Just maybe she's a cousin of a Horta.
Well, let's get into it and start talking about the shoe.
Vote in the poll. Vote in the poll. So we start off with a intentionally somewhat, not so creepy, but we've got to make the ship look a bit more menacing. And in fact, the team did say, yes, we're trying to make the ship look less nice when the Diviner's on the ship. So this is evil protostar. Almost.
Well, yeah. And then the Diviner realizes that they scan the whole ship. There's no protostar. He's like, "I'll never get to Starfleet without it." And then he starts questioning Gwen.
Gwendala.
Yeah, which she pulls her weapon on him, and he's like, "Hey, you forgot that I gave you that," and which I thought was a nice touch, actually.
Super logical. Although she's not the most intelligent woman ever, because it's like obvious. I mean, it's obvious to me as soon as she pulled it. Like, yeah. Especially as she's a clone of him, and he can psychically control it. So, makes sense.
Well, he says to her, what do you think we're going to accomplish? You distract me, beam your friends aboard. And he's like, raise power to the shield and reset all security protocols. Which, to be fair, should probably reset Janeway again. But hey.
Well, she's a training hologram, not a security program, so she wouldn't necessarily be classed in that. Janeway's a confusing thing, both important but also super unimportant. It's they really should have made Janeway like an actual assistant, like a dedicated high-end assistant program, not just a guide if you need it occasionally. Because I was like, why is she always here? Why is she this important? Etc.
Yeah. Then he orders Rock Talk to Rock Talk. Oh my God. He orders Dreadnought to reactivate the Watchers, which is great because this is what I would have done as the ship was leaving. That's probably what I would have done initially. But
yes, but you don't care about alliances. You'll stab people in the back or the front, Stuart. That's what we all know about you.
Wow, really?
No, not really.
You have that? You think that of me? Oh my God. That's not nice. All right.
I also, on a very small note, but I like when he smashes the console, it doesn't break. I was waiting for it to go shatter, ugh. I was like, yeah, it's advanced metal. It's fine. I'll take it. Small detail, but yeah. And you cut down to the. Honestly, I I forgot I did or didn't care about this stuff. I'm like, oh yeah, they're in jetpacks.
Yeah.
Moving on. That was weird.
This is great though with the hey guys. It's like, oh my God, we can understand you. Oh my God, I love you so much. The two miners. It was a nice little moment. What was the guy's name? It was Gronstlat. Grjordslat. Wow. And the other guy was Trodo. Not that we care, but hey, they love each other. Yay. That surprised me.
Wonderfully unnecessary, yet wonderfully lovely. You know,
Yeah.
love transcends races and speech patterns, because they had no idea. Like, I really wish they didn't have space helmets on to see any sort of expression from them. I know it works fine without it, but...
Yeah.
And it's true, and it's a very good setup for later on. You know, yes, short range, so he's having to fly to each individual group of people and say, hey, guys, yeah, we can communicate, yeah, it's fine. Do this. Although it led me to think, it's great how you've got a jetpack, but saying to them, get to the ship, you understand they're in zero G and can't control that, really? And it's slow, so, like you said, there's no plan here. I know this is an extra part of the plan, but Dal does not come across as very smart at any point in this episode.
No.
At any point in this episode, and honestly feels like a very, very like low tier character. It's really the Gwen and Diviner show, and Rock Talk actually, but yeah, he feels very barely here.
Yeah.
At least to me anyway.
No, I agree. Then we got more problems though, because all the Watchers reactivate.
Well, that room, because they never appear again. So.
And we've.
If that's an Amazon Street, you can go get it. It's fine.
I have no idea what it is because Sylvia's not here, but I should go check.
Yes, you should. I'll keep going. Goodbye, Stuart. It's fine, guys. We can have a Stuart replacement. No, we can't. Yeah. Hi, guys. How's it going? In the poll, do you prefer a moral star part 1 or part 2? 75% of you say part 2. Good stuff. Good stuff. And yes, we've done a plethora of videos already. There'll be ones on... Oh, goodness. Oh, God. Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, I believe. So, yeah, all the way up until Discovery is back. God, already back again. So, I'm going to do a new poll, though. Do a new poll.
All is fine. I was alert condition pug. So yeah, did you go into the next scene yet at all? Or?
I was drawn to the audience. Doing a poll.
Yeah, so basically the Watchers are trying to get them to go into the engineering section and realize that engineering is messed up. So Jenkins like, I'm gonna go fix this. Rock Talk, keep them out, hold the door essentially, and then Jankum realizes how bad the situation is. I love Rock Talk too. Like, I didn't know you could fix an engine just by staring at it. But yeah, we find out that the blast emptied the entire energy core, and Rock Talk's like, well, I've got an idea. And what is her idea? Okay, if you interplex the plasma conduits, adjust for input variances in the lithium matrix, and siphon off the energy of the protocore to jumpstart it. And Jenkins like, new plan. I'll hold the door. You go do that. You go do all of what you just said. So.
Yeah, I thought it was one of the better scenes of the episode because it's actually them being character growth. Although I don't know if you got the same sense. I got a very Into Darkness engineering room vibe here.
I didn't know. No, I didn't.
But now you look at it though.
Yeah. Very industrial.
Well, it's the same. There's two emitters pointing at each other.
Oh, that one. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
The one that Kirk kicks to die and be alive again in. Which I found amusing because there's a few visual gags here that I thought were direct links. But no, this is a really great thing because Rock Talk is he only's learned by tinkering. He also hasn't had the ability to study stuff, and so this is, I guess, more of a. Oh, sorry, I meant Jankenpog. Sorry, Jankenpog and the tinker, more of an engineer because try and fail and see what happens. Whereas Rock Talk knows he studied stuff, and so this is more of a how do you science the problem, because Jadzia can't fix every problem a Brian can, and vice versa. Sometimes the skill set is not quite the same, and so while Jankapog is like, this is a problem, I know I could fix it, ideas, Rock's like, yeah, I got an idea. This is simple quantum physics, astrophysics shit. And it's like, yeah, you just do it. So I really like the turnaround here. It was very neat. Although, as I said to you previously, it's obviously going to power up the Protostar, but once the Protostar's gone, how are they able to warp jump it and fire phasers and impulse without any active warp core? Because they shot the warp core area. Like, you can jump start, doesn't mean it's going to continue to be powered. You still need the petrol to be in the car. I mean,
but it does though, because later when they fire it up, you get the big beam in the middle. It's like, how'd that happen? No explanation.
Well, because the Protostar inside the core, that was the point. They had the power drive in it. They hadn't beamed them out yet. They had all the power they wanted then, and then it gets beamed away, and then they lift off and go to warp. It's like, oh.
No, because if you watch, they siphon the power, because they get Murph. They siphon the power, jumpstart it. Murph still has it in him, and then it gets beamed out of Murph. So it wasn't in the ship, powering the ship at that point. It gets beamed out of Murph.
Well, he was in it until Deadlock beams down. That's the point when he leaves the core. And at that point, it's jump starters. It doesn't need to be active. I assume you still need him in there. I don't mind them doing siphoning power off, but can a warp core pull power and store it enough to... Normally a warp drive needs an active warp core to be powered. So I'm sure there's a rationale like this thing has massive batteries and, you know, there are 3 warp drives. And there's something they haven't explained, but they didn't explain it in the episode enough to know, you know, a jump start does not mean you fix damage.
Yeah.
Small
it's one of those things. Once the engine gets running, it keeps running. It's like a car. You only use the starter to get the engine going, and then it keeps itself going.
So the Diviner just broke the ignition.
Maybe.
And
but maybe.
So the ignition is what had a massive fireball explosion and blew particles everywhere.
Yeah, it was just the starter motor.
I mean, that's the only rationale. So I guess it's just a bit of an exaggerated starter motor then. But okay, I'll buy that.
Oh. Anyway, next scene, we get the Cetacean. Let's see, it's fine. We won't hurt you, kind of thing. And
you had the slowest robot firing a laser beam in history.
Yeah.
Look out! And it's like, you know, there are hundreds of these robots, and this is the last one that's going to appear. It's like, really? Wow.
And Zero loses an arm, the big clampy arm. All right, it's all right. I can never really control that anyway. So, wow.
Yep.
And then they're trying to figure out a way to tell everybody to get the ship. And this is when he looks at the manacle and says, "Ooh, the manacles. We can." Well, he gets the idea of feeding the translator through the manacle.
Well, I don't know how you know how to do that because he's not an engineer. He doesn't know how a comm badge works. He doesn't know how a manacle works. And
he did work with the Ferengi for a long time, and you know,
true.
Messing with communications and stuff might be something Cal learned.
Okay. But he hasn't necessarily... Yeah. I guess it's, you know, what skills do you need to learn or not learn? It's like, things and bobs.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll buy that. But it was done effortlessly, is the idea.
Yeah. Kit 10K is here with $10.
Welcome back!
Says, hey guys, did I miss much? Not a lot, really, no.
No, we're saving the big chat at the end. Although you did see... You're still able to see our, you know, the full animated us in bold Protostar future uniform. You know, looking proud.
Yep, indeed.
Yes.
Nice new uniforms.
At some point, I have to do like a big poll on which version of us looks better, which uniform we suit more.
Then we're back to the engine room. More of them. The Watchers trying to get in, and I guess they get things. Well, there's a big fight that ensues, and they're putting their things through the door. But anyway. Anyway, we get the power core up and running, and we got that big beam shoots up into space.
And then thousands of people get broken legs and arms.
Yeah, because I thought the same thing. It's like, oh, that's rough. How long have they been floating for? How high are they? Oh, they're dead. Good job. Plus crates fall on them and stuff. Yeah.
Oh yeah, okay, what could you have done? But they definitely killed hundreds of people. I'm just saying.
That's
What? I mean, it's not, I don't know. Because I mean,
Anyway.
spacesuits aren't, they aren't blunt force things, especially if gravity's kind of Anyway,
Yeah.
and it's a rocky area as well.
Oh yeah, there's like stalactites and stalagmites. Somebody's gonna get impaled.
So
on
that's
them.
why there's only 20 people left at the end, because everyone else got killed.
Yeah, it's a big pile of dead bodies. Yeah. SVS Gertrude 2000 puts in 5 heroes. Doll-built version 1 of the warp matrix with a box of scraps. He can MacGyver the manacles.
He had explicit instructions, and he was using pieces he knew that he found, that he had the computer for to tell him about. This is 2 pieces of tech he doesn't know how to use. I mean, maybe he's managed to. Well, I don't know how you study your own ankle bracelet while in prison without tech, but it's a little bit different.
You try to get it off your ankle by picking it off. He would learn a lot about how it worked, I would think.
If you got one off, though.
Well, no. Not a lot of times, not being successful, you learn more by failing. So.
Yeah. So then we get happiness, happy days, but then, then the manacle thing. It's all good.
We do see the comm badge come apart though, with the tech in there.
Kind of.
Don't really see the tech. It looks like one of my magnetic badges. Actually, just take the back out.
Yeah, I wouldn't say tech so much as he takes the back piece off and there's a speaker, and then he plugs a 3.5mm jack into it. I don't know what this visual is trying to be logically. Why is there a manacle USB connector that's just part of it? I don't know.
Yeah.
Although in fairness, this might be a hint, because the Protostar is in theory from the same time that the Rev 12 is, and so they are going more compatible because they're from the same future. So that's a hell of a reach because things evolve at different times, but it seemed like a bit of an odd thing. But I do like the next shot of the Protostar being there.
Yeah.
I don't know why you wouldn't beam all the crew up. You've got transporters, you know which races they are. I don't know why you wouldn't just beam them all to the brig. I mean, it would probably be a little bit easier. We established in a minute shields aren't an issue, so selective beaming. Because if you pull all of the guys that just messed you up into your brig, then you're probably going to be fine. But no.
Yeah. But then Rock pulls Murph out of the thing.
I do like the glow effect as well. I thought it looked quite nice.
Yeah. Murph still has the glow in him, the Protostar, so. But then Dreadnought arrives.
Yes. He JJ beams.
Yeah.
And I was like, shit's gonna get real now. I was quite intimidated by this because he's in full Grievous mode. Full Death Spider.
Oh, yeah.
And then they punch him for a bit. Metal. They punch metal. Industrial armor, tactical metal. When they have phasers on their belts.
Piled by a bunch of just.
Stuart, they have phasers.
Miners.
They had phasers. No? Okay. No phasers.
It's beyond stupid. This scene is just not. Yeah. And then you get the whole swing, the claw marks. Such a comic book visual, but hey, and then that's the end of Dreadnought.
Good summary. Especially when
I'm very unimpressed.
Especially this visual alone of the 2 leads cowering in front of a giant mech man with 2 hands, 2 stabbing arms, 4 stabbing legs, and he gets defeated in under a minute.
Yep.
Literally by, and honestly, let's be honest, having the 4-year-old stab his head off, it's not satisfying. Really, it's sad and it's like, oh.
Yeah. Not much else can be said about this scene. Just it was disappointing.
Like if she'd said, "Throw me a phaser," wow, she's a smart kid, but it wasn't very satisfying. And now in retrospect, you'll definitely think he's a who cares sort of villain. I mean, he can obviously come back because they can replicate them. That's fine, but definitely underwhelming. And any level of, well, honestly, it is kind of like General Grievous himself. Let's be honest, he gets killed like a punk with a blaster. You know what I mean? This epic guy, and he gets shot and he's dead. So it probably, like, that's a reference to how piss poor the other guy was. I mean, seriously, guys, you in the chat, tell us what you guys think. How did you feel when Dreadnought was taken out? And in fact, I actually have a poll. That's what the poll is about, Stuart. Read the poll, because I forgot I did that.
Was Dreadnought too easily defeated? Yes, too easy. Nope, felt about right. Middle would have been better.
Forgot I was a poll I did. Boy, I was ahead of myself.
Yeah.
Damn.
General Grievous is here, by the way. $2. Angry Dreadnought noises in corner.
See, at least Grievous had like 94 lightsabers. At least he fought a Jedi. This guy fought some prisoners. Which, wasn't it strange that none of them were races we knew?
A little. Well, one was
Morn's race.
Yeah, Morn's race, but that's it. There's one that looks like a xenomorph, but like a little more fleshy and not so hard shelled.
Because it would have been different if there was like two Herodian, maybe in Species 8472. You know, like really powerful races that or maybe if we'd seen a scene where there was a big foyer and Dahl was saying, we need your strongest fighters to help us take out a being that we know is beamed into the engine room. That I know is there for some reason. Sure. And then like the biggest guys walk forward like, Herodian, 8472. Really freaking tall Kazon. Like, a sense of these are the fighters would have been really kind of cool.
Mm-hmm.
You know, would have made sense.
Some bigger people doing mining. So yeah.
Yeah.
But anyway, they got the protocore, and Murph looks sad. I thought Murph at this point was getting sick. Like when he first came out, I thought that they had to get it out of him because it was harming him in some way.
Would you think it would?
It was just beamed out of him. Yeah.
Yeah. And I was a bit surprised they could just beam it, given that it's a star.
Yeah.
I mean, again, removes the tension a bit. Means they just beam it in and out of Murph if there's ever any problem. And it means you can beam things in and out of Murph. There's another precedent set.
Mm-hmm.
Just felt so easy, and I guess I'm okay with. We didn't know where it was until we got Dreadnought in the room, but it's like, it's a star. Literally, the power signature in that room is insanity, and you can filter out your own power core. How can you not detect the power of a star in a room? You don't need to narrow it down. It seemed like an odd thing to, as the excuse why they just couldn't do it instantly. Yeah.
General Grievous says, "You haven't seen the last of me. I'll be back." Everything. Dun 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 dun.
I do agree. We'll be back. I do agree. I don't think him or Divine are actually gone. It's just the way they feel. And also, Andy says, respectfully disagree. It was cool to see the enslaved aliens rise up to smash him. No, thematically fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
Director-wise, action-wise, shot-wise, pretty poor. That could be an entire long sequence of like epicness. It could have been. It just wasn't.
Like it could have been. They could have made it a lot better. Like have one of the Watchers with the tail laser go to fire at somebody, and somebody else kick the tail laser, which hits Dreadnought. So
I mean like a blaster in the heart, and
Yeah.
he stumbles and then...
No, just stumble on the ground, then get dogpiled.
Okay.
And then use like a mining torch to
Oh,
shoot
yeah.
stuff.
Yeah, why aren't these mining tools? That's a good idea. It's like he's literally a death-built robot sent back in time from a future time era to kill people.
Killed by a kitten. It's killed by a kitten, literally.
You know, it's like if the Gungans in Star Wars took out battle droids without their Unabongos and just hit them. It's like, they need the advanced tech as well.
SVS Gurio 2000 puts in €5. Thank you. Is it really a star, though? I remember the computer calling it an exotic matter dilithium matrix.
Well, there's two things.
They keep referring to it as the proto star. So
yeah, there's two things. You need the dilithium matrix to make the warp drive work. Because remember, it's an energy source to power a technology. It itself is not the technology. So the proto star powers the exotic matter with the dilithium inside the dilithium chamber, which then activates the drive. It's a separate warp core basically next to two warp cores. So it's two things. You need both.
And George Mangrum says, didn't they beam it into Murph in the first place? Dal said, get the cargo transporter ready in part 1. Yeah, it was probably to beam down Zero, though.
Yeah, I would assume so.
And the line is also kind of a red herring in a way, like, get ready, get the cargo transporter ready to beam people up. Like, start rescuing people or something.
Oh, yeah, that makes sense too. I kind of assume that they put Murph in it and they opened it and he absorbed it. I don't know. I kind of assumed. Or they beamed Murph into it, Murph absorbed it, opened the hatch, walked out.
Yeah, and he just ate it because it's Murph.
Yeah.
General Grievous, $5. Sam is already making puns about my supposed demise. He just called me Dreadnought. The disrespect shakes my head.
I still don't know his name. Is it Deadknock, Dreadnought, Dreadlock, Deadknock?
Dreadnought.
Yeah, okay.
But anyway, so then everybody gets on the Rev 12, I guess. All the miners are running. And yeah, we can't see anything familiar except for Morn's race.
And oddly, they all know to go into small side pods. And they all know how to operate a brand new alien ship they've never seen or used from the future. And it's played off like a, oh yeah, all you need to do is just press buttons. And it's like, no, that doesn't... I guess this is just a for the kids moment of, yay, people can do things, but it feels very unreal. I'm especially the kid, I mean, would you really put a 6-year-old alien in a tech you've never seen before and respond? No, you wouldn't. So it all feels a bit... Especially so you only need Deadlock and does Violent fly the ship. Why do you now need 19 people? None of which know how to use it. I kind of thought they were all going to go in fighters or turrets was how it was played, but they're just there. I know, it's a pretty bad choice, I thought.
Yeah.
For a little moment.
But the ship takes off and like closes up.
That looks fantastic. I thought that was really nice. And then warps away in atmosphere, 1 second away from the planet. That was dangerous as hell. Oh my god. Talk about not inside a star system, talk about 1/2 second from a thing. I know it's more advanced future ship tech, but still, goddamn. That's some advanced warp tech to be able to do that. You can't be... I mean, runabouts aren't going to take off and then warp straight in the atmosphere. Like, you just don't do that. You just don't do that.
Mm-hmm. But then the Diviner comes on the bridge and finds out that Gwen is disabling the shields. And he says to Janeway, why didn't you tell me? Oh, it's because I only worked for Starfleet, you see? It's like, wow, that was underwhelming as well. I expected like the other Janeway program to initiate and shut this one down. Like,
oh yeah, that's what we thought was going to happen, didn't we? Oh yeah.
I want to see a Janeway versus Janeway, but no. It's just been me the whole time. I'm just going to change my uniform now.
All 3 lines I had...
Yeah.
I mean, I didn't have an impact. If you don't have an impact in the story as a villain, then the reveal is not a reveal. It's just a, oh, okay.
Yeah.
Like, I had 0 impact, pretty much. It was really strange.
Then we get the whole, I upgraded your programs to ignore your overrides. And then she, like, physically stops the Diviner. And, like I said, upgrades.
And I don't know about you, but I forgot the frame now. I mean, it's a great little visual of the Diviner and Janeway. And hands out. I was expecting to do this. Like Neo it.
Jesus Christ.
Oh, upgrades.
Or this.
Well, just a black boiler penis bar, yeah. But no, seriously, it feels like a Matrix I know Kung Fu moment because they never fight, and just do literally like a Kung Fu. Now I don't know if this is meant to be a moment or something about the fact she's hard light hologram now because the Doctor is in sickbay.
Yeah.
So that's not special. She's already picked up stuff previously, which means she's not special. Also hasn't other times. So I assume that wasn't the it was played, I felt like, as if I can now be solid, but that's what holograms are in this sort of situation.
Yeah, force fields. Photons and
I mean, how else do you think the Doctor picks up a hypo spray to use? They have holographic hypo sprays. Like, that's everything he does in sickbay.
Well, see, Janeway's been remarkably inconsistent in that regard.
Yep.
Sometimes she'll touch things or interact with things. Sometimes everything passes through her. So they've been really loose with that. So.
And I'm fine with different rooms having different holo projector levels. That's fine.
Yes.
Although if the ship's 50 years in the future, then they should all be holo projectors. I mean, remember, what's the name? Andy Dick held a gas canister through the Jeffries tube of Prometheus, which tells you the entire ship has fully functional you know, holo projectors for stuff. So this is. I'm assuming that's not what the reveal was. More, I can fight you, but as an upgrade, I just gave her kung fu ability. I think this is just a for the kids moment because it didn't play as well as they thought. They couldn't make it complicated. They couldn't really make it pay off. And yeah, no double Janeway, which was definitely what they were implying. It was just, and I was also waiting for the payoff. This guy obviously owned the ship for some time. Surely he would also have a backup over that. Emergency code hidden deep in the code. Like I was expecting a double twist. You know, yeah.
Well, anyway, there's a little bit of a fight, a little scuffle that ensues.
Which is quite fun.
Janeway rips off one of his life support things, which has a dramatic effect. He drops to the ground. It's bleeding out. It's all over the place.
Well, he's not bleeding out. He's back to tank out.
Yeah.
Now, what did you think when this? What do you think when this happened? Like, do you think it was in character
when she did that?
Yeah.
I was hoping that she would know that it wouldn't be fatal, just slow him down or whatever, but it seemed to affect him quite drastically until it doesn't. But I mean, he's kind of holding it together at one point, like the tube. So, but then he lets go of it and he collapses again. So I don't know. I didn't feel it was out of character because he's got to protect the ship, but yeah, I just assumed she knew it wouldn't kill him. So
yeah, it's. I thought that was really not out of character because but it seemed vicious to me. It seemed very, very full on. I don't know why she just couldn't grab a phaser and stun him. I mean, this, we gotta hope she didn't kill him, but the fact that we know some holograms can just use the ship systems. We know she can't because she's already had things she doesn't know how to use. So we've got to assume that while being evil Janeway, she had to go to the ship's, like a physical console, scan him using the medical scanners, work out how his life support works in the last hour, and how to hurt him but not kill him. Because she's not just got sensors as part of her program. That's not how that works. We know that. So
unless Gwen knew and told her about how it would work. So
yes, but she's never seen him in this suit ever. She said, "You're out of the tank." So she had no. Maybe she saw it in the cupboard, but she's never seen him in it. I don't know. Still felt quite vicious. And then instantly makes him a non-threat, and we're only halfway through. It's like, oh, well, there you go. We defeated Deadlock 4 seconds ago, and now he's a non-threat. It's like, oh, well, that was the episode.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, General Grievous, $2. Holo Janeway unlocked for your episode. That's funny.
Yeah. Oh, hi, Chuck.
That's where he pleads with her, and everything I've done will be for nothing. You gotta stop.
Which he's done a lot of shit now. Like, he's made a lot of people's lives horrible, so don't let that happen without a reason,
He said we can still save our people.
What do you mean? They're all dead, Father. That's what you said.
Yeah. She said you wanted to know the truth. This is it.
I am your father. Yes, I know, Dad. Sorry,
the planet is here, but it won't be for long. I was sent back in time to save it.
Mm-hmm.
So.
And it doesn't have the same rhythm when he's dying on the floor, vibe-wise. It doesn't quite have the same impact as this big, powerful villain from the rest of the season. It's not quite as good as they hoped it to play. But it does make us stop.
Yeah, you will doom our people. And then Janeway tries to stop her, and then she gets frozen. Freeze the hologram, Janeway.
Although you would think if she upgraded her program, should be able to not allow a freeze to happen, which would...
Because that's all the diviner would have to say. Freeze the hologram. Oh,
God, yeah, that's true. Yeah, I thought we were going to see a moment where she then does something, but that also seemed like an odd... Okay, we're done with the Janeway character now. Goodbye. Yeah, that's... Because the Doctor can turn himself on and off as well, That's part of his programming. But if that's all he had to do.
Kit 10K throws in $10. So thank you so much. Look at your animated images on the side. It looks like you guys could be in Family Guy. Honestly, seeing you guys on Family Guy would be great.
Hey, hire us, Seth. We'll be in there.
Yeah.
So I'm going to end the poll now. We asked, was Dreadnought too easily defeated? Yes, 54%. Middle, coming better, 28%. And 18% no, fell about right.
Yeah.
Nice.
Speaking of, we have 103 people here with 74 likes, guys. Let's get up to 100 likes. Hit that like button. General Grievous, $2. Or did Hollow Janeway pretend to be frozen? That's what I was hoping for, but doesn't. No, there's no payoff for that. So, yeah, I think Sammy's going to do a new poll right now. But guys, hit that like button. The super chats are good. You guys are really contributing to the discussion here, so I appreciate that. Thank you so much. Keep that up. But yeah, everybody hit that like button. I think we can easily get to 100 likes right now, which would be amazing, guys. The doctor couldn't turn off his program at first. Yes, this is true, but
upgraded.
Yeah, exactly. Holograms after that could. So
well, we don't know that, but if Gwen allowed her not to be corrupted by things, she'd obviously allow her not to be turned off. Otherwise, Divine could say, "Turn off Janeway." I mean, the first thing you do is make herself able to do those things. It's the first thing, logically.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, 83 likes now. It's climbing slowly, guys. Hit that like button. Looking forward to. There's a good discussion to be had near the end of this, so we're gonna get into that as well, and I want you guys to participate. So, I want to hear your thoughts for sure. Yeah, it's leading into this next scene, which, I mean, this is some great shots of the Protostar being chased by the Rev 12. Cannot complain. Looks really good.
Okay, we got the poll when you see it.
Okay. As soon as I see it, I will.
Good man.
Waiting. There it is.
And yes, those exterior shots are nice.
So the Diviner came back from 50 plus years in the future. What did you think of the reveal? We kind of expected it. But anyway, the answers are amazing. Loved it. Nice reveal. Knew he was from the future. And underwhelming, to be honest.
Yeah. But yeah, these shots are nice. I really liked the close-up on the details. You don't tend to see those that level of fidelity, and those little triangles nice. And there's some, definitely some familiar Starfleet things there.
Mm-hmm. And the whole conversation about why aren't we on board that ship? Well, the shields are up. When should I handle that? Well, yeah.
Well, she is fighting a literally a much older guy with all the knowledge and weapons. I mean, do you not think he'll outsmart her and beat her?
Yeah. Anyway, they talk about firing on their own ship, and we could lower the shields just enough to beam us aboard. Mm-hmm. But he's like, I can't believe I'm saying this. Target the Protostar, which is great.
I actually kind of forgot Dahl was in this episode at this point. I was like, oh yeah, he's here. Do you know what I mean? Like, they're such an unimportant part in the relative space. Like, oh yeah, this is a thing. Well, I really liked when we cut to the view screen and it's the shot from Nemesis of the E.
Yeah.
I thought that was a really nice little touch.
Very, very, very similar, yeah.
And then, I assume it's a mistake, but the Rev 12 fires a Star Trek Voyager phaser sound effect beam. So it's firing a Federation phaser. Not an alien one, not a disruptor, full on the exact same one the Protostar uses. Both in colour, in tone, and sound effects. And sound effects do genuinely mean something in terms of the Trek universe. So, is that? And my interpretation from that is that because this is a ship from the post-Federation future, where they know whatever the race is called, this ship was, they used some Federation technology to help build it. Like it's a culmination of what's there in the Federation, or at least the remnants were. And so they have Starfleet phases because they're just really advanced. Because that's what it's telling us.
Yeah. Good point. Didn't really think about that, but yeah. The shields getting hit is a nice touch. I don't know how I feel about the hexagonal shield hits every time, but...
It's a bit forced, honestly. I mean, it's fine, but it's a bit forced. What's very strange, though, and you call this out in another review, it goes hard cut from action beat, shields being hit, to gentle meandering. Let's go to the holodeck. It's like, but your ship's under... Red alert! Computer, red alert, like... Bad cut.
Yep.
Bad cut. Because
you'd feel like...
It's not a big ship.
Especially with such a small ship, yeah.
I mean, the Diviner also doesn't want to lose the ship. So you would think he'd be slightly careful of anything. He's not.
This is weird editing wise too, because it's almost like he's not injured at all, or the tube's not damaged, unless he fixed it on the walk down there. But it's almost like this should have been earlier in the episode or something. I don't know. This is what I think they mean by editing issues.
Stuart, you know how he was very badly injured a few seconds ago?
Yeah.
No, it's fine now.
I know. This is the way.
Doesn't really work.
No.
Because now we know he's a weak, feeble man with no power. And so now we're watching it as he's just a guy now. There's no menace whatsoever in this scene. Zero.
Yeah. And what's up with the interface on the ship? It just creates a little slot out of nothing that just closes back up when he puts his little chip in. I thought that was weird. That must be Federation tech to be able to do that into the console.
Huh. Well, that's true.
Just saying.
Didn't even yeah. Why are they just a slot? Yeah.
Which, if it was made of programmable matter or something, I understand 100%. But
well, it's a future ship, and if it's from 50 years in the future, then hey, there we go. It can have morphable whatever. Yeah. Which I do like now, knowing it's from at least a bit in the future, because it explains why the L cars are all actual 3D off the wall level of display. Mm-hmm. That's not logical to how tech progresses, really. But there you go now. Yeah.
Yeah. So look, Solum, as it exists today, the Vanakat are flourishing. Yay, it's so pretty.
And it
Believing that they're the only ones in the universe.
And it is genuinely pretty. I thought it was a really nice looking planet. I kind of like the Rev 12 looking ship structures vaguely, and I thought it was nice.
And we get the story of 50 years after first contact. This is how it looks. Which, he goes on to say, well, she says Starfleet did this, but they stand for hope and peace. They'd never, and he says, Starfleet lit the fire and let us burn. After their mirror rival civil war splintered our people between those aligned with the Federation and those who would die to preserve our way of life. But history can be rewritten. So they destroyed themselves in a civil war. Ones that wanted to join the Federation, ones that wanted to maintain their individuality and not be homogenized, whatever. This is where my one theory came in that I want to talk to you about.
Okay. And we did many films today and we paused and I was like, Stuart's theory. I'm excited.
It would be the assumption after first contact you send second contacts, like the Cerritos. Then you supply diplomats. You supply, what you want out of being in the Federation. It seems like first contact was made and nobody ever came back to check on them. Kind of reminds me of Khan's little diatribe. He never came back to check on us. But could it be that because there was no second contact or there was no diplomats, because I'm sure this happens with a lot of first contacts. We don't want to join the Federation. Yes, we want to join the Federation. Federation diplomats come in and say, look, you guys dictate how you want to do this. You can either be a large part of the Federation or you can maintain your sovereignty and just, whatever. There's got to be different avenues. And you need somebody that's experienced in that to do it. Could it be that because they've gone back in time now, first contact hasn't been made yet? Let's say first contact does get made still. But that's when his plan kicks in and all the Starfleet ships start going crazy. You get a civil war in Starfleet, whatever. So nobody ever has a chance to come back to do second contact, to never check up on these people because Starfleet is either destroyed or Starfleet is at odds with itself and doesn't have the resources to devote to this. Could it be that he himself, predestination paradox, going back in time, is the one that destroyed his planet, because Starfleet never did its second contact, never sent the diplomats, never sent the resources they needed to handle this situation. So it's actually his fault. That's my thought.
But that would still remove his part of the storyline, because all he had to do was the virus. He's out of the story now.
Yes.
And then everything else is going to happen. So there's really nothing that happens in the story, because, as in, it's already happened.
Except they might have to protostar like back in time or something, and stop and talk to him, a younger him. Who knows what the situation will be? But I'm just saying, the fact that there was no second contact, no follow up, no diplomats, nobody helping with that, I think is a big thing, because Starfleet doesn't do that. Starfleet doesn't show up and go, "Hey guys, you're not the only ones out there. We're coming back to, you know."
See, yes, but what quadrant is the planet in?
Delta Quadrant, apparently.
We don't even know necessarily, given the protostar can proto-warp. If it's in the Delta Quadrant, then what if the protostar itself was the first contact ship? After it became the USS Protostar or some such. And then something happened and they couldn't get back there. So it wasn't a no second contact, it was a case of, well, they just didn't ever have the resources to go back to their planet. So it's what you said, but so far away, it was like a happenstance. You know, Protostar had, there's an episode of Stargate with Prometheus where it has to hyperspace into a planet's atmosphere and detonates its hyperdrive because, oh no, it went haywire, caused first contact, things went bad, accidental. So what if it's an accidental first contact with the Protostar itself, the original timeline, then
I was going to say that would be bad management on Starfleet's part if that was the case. Like, oh yeah, this ship can go far. Look, first contact. Don't make first contact if you don't have the resources to back it up. Because you've seen first contacts go bad before. That's why they have procedures.
Isn't that what Voyager did 430,000 times, and they never did second contact once? So doesn't that kind of defeat the argument a bit?
I guess, sure.
Because they thought it was fine every single time. I know they had less choice, but they could have just gone straight.
Choice, essentially. Yeah.
But isn't, well, hold on, back a step. First contact is non-warp capable. That's the definition. So that's irrelevant. If warp capable, you can first contact all over the place. You're not. So that's actually different. No, that's a good point. Why would they meet? Why would they first contact this race originally? Is it because they're warp capable? In which case, they're already going to go out and see the stars anyway.
It could have, it could have been too that there was an accident and Protostar was forced to land here.
Yep. Pre-warp.
So they had no alternative but to.
Yep.
Yeah.
Because also, technically speaking, I meant a duck blind emission as well. So there should be people walking around if you really want to go full on with the first contact, etc. But that's it. But if they're already warp capable, then they should do whatever things else. Because we don't get a sense from this planet could be anything. It you know, and if you know, he could easily steal stuff, learn stuff, you know, after have warp, etc., etc. You know, buy warp from the Ferengi. He knows a Ferengi.
Something to think about anyway. Kit 10K throws in $10. When IR comes to shield hits, what do you guys prefer? The way they did it in TNG or in this show? I'm undecided myself. Both. I like the warp bubble. Yeah, you go ahead. You do visual effects.
There's a shield bubble. There's like a full bubble. There's a impact bubble. So it's just the point that you see, kind of first contact, just a segment of it. And there's actually a representation of the ship pushed out, and there's just the hull impacting. Those are kind of the four variants. I want to know what you think.
I do like the shield bubble. Like, we've seen it actually change shape before when it's being hit, which, so you can modulate it. I like that. So you can make it fit whatever scenario you need. Pulling it in tighter, closer to the emitters, would make sense for a stronger shield. But pushing it out is just general coverage, you know. So I think there's different settings for sure.
Well, and also we've seen in many a fight because think about Nemesis, right? When the ship's being attacked and they say shield's down to 35%, and yet there's still sparks flying. It's like, well, but the shields are still taking the impact. What's happening is because the kinetic damage is hitting, like the power of what's happening is damaging the inside of the ship, as well as just. Like, otherwise it should be 0 damage until shields go down, but there's still stuff happening. Whereas a bubble shield, you're so much further away from the hull that it's not interfering. I mean, you don't associate Enterprise D with massive sparks in a battle. You really don't, because it's not so... Wow, I put some logic in there. I like the bubbles when they're distinctly one-sided, like a zone. That's how I do in fan films, like a limited bubble. So, it's clearly a bubble around the ship, but only the segment being attacked is relevant. It also lets you do like a big battle and multiple areas getting hit at the same time, and it's a really cool effect. And as Speleopagic as AA says, that was explained in the interview with Prodigy's producer. Protostar did not make first contact. So now, you say that.
We got to address this article because we've read it.
Yes. Great article. Really interesting. They said, the showrunner said, Captain Chakotay is not Captain of the Protostar. Captain Chakotay was Captain of the Protostar. They lied because it would have been, technically they weren't lying because he wasn't captain at the time. So if you say, if they said the Protostar didn't make first contact, they might mean the NX Protostar didn't make first contact, but the USS Protostar did.
Or the Protostar didn't make first contact deliberately. Like, there's ways to say that.
Or Protostar A, or just the USS NX, or not that ship, or not that version, the alternate reality version, the future version, the past version. So let's not pretend they're going to give away spoilers. It's such an integrated show where they've thought 40 ahead that you can't take everything they say as a genuine. They've always shown they're going to mislead for the sake of spoilers, which they should do. Because if we knew, so, yeah. So I'm not going to
take them at their word and believe that Chakotay is not the captain of the Protostar, or you can see the proof before your eyes.
Yeah. So technicalities are important here, and that's okay.
SPS Guru 2000 puts in €10. Thank you so much. I feel like a second contact with full diplomats would have made it even worse.
Yeah.
It would entrench the hardliners more in their position, witnessing the alien meddling. I disagree, because they would say, all right, you guys are hardliners, you guys want to join us, you guys are not going to be affected because we're not going to homogenize your world with Federation tech everywhere. That's not what we do. We'll have as much involvement as you guys want. You guys want to join the Federation? Cool. You guys can come with us and start learning about the Federation off-world. Like, the Federation has ways to handle this kind of situation.
They've done it hundreds of times before.
Yes.
My only thing is that so this is obviously an extreme case, because not only did the planet tore itself apart within 50 years, which is not a long time at all.
No.
But also then, either he did or someone else gave him the ability to go back in time to re-change history, which, Admiral Janeway did the same thing, very much, in a similar vein, save a crew, save a planet, which very mirrored. There's a lot more radicalness there. I took it as there was, and in fact the Orville did an episode actually exactly on this, where they make first contact and they then say, no, we don't want this, because I think it's the guys, everyone who's born in March is a evil sinner, and they're like, that's wrong, and they're like, shut the hell up, there's our rules, and like, oh, So I took it more as whoever was those that said, no, we are the only ones in the universe, they went radical, they bombed stuff, they launched nukes, like something that simple. It was a few percentage of the population that killed it for everyone, even if some want to go out, some want to stay, some want to repress, and the repressors won. It's a devastation example of what can happen. It's a life lesson, and in fact this may become the central part of the show, which is how do we save this planet in retrospect to the future, because now can we allow this planet to be destroyed in the course of this show? If we know it's going to be destroyed, we have to now save this planet without even knowing there's a problem the planet to solve. So we actually if the Diviners, let's say 200, that's hence the tubes, then we might see the Diviner on this planet in the present, and when we go to that planet at some point, because Gwen wants to go there, she learns it's still here, that part of the story might be to literally save the planet, meet the Diviner's normal self, and then kind of have a mirroring of, well, we need to, like Anorax in Voyager, like you see that good of him at the end. Let's have that positive save the planet message.
What if this exact planet isn't destroyed in this reality or this universe, this timeline? What if when he went back in time, he accidentally crossed into another reality? Like, we don't know. There's a lot of possibilities in that regard. So,
well, yeah, I mean, the amount of things that have now happened. The amount of people he's affected. Yeah, no, 100%.
And then he goes on to say that we can stop first contact by arming a weapon that's already on board the Protostar. We can wipe out Starfleet, all of Starfleet from existence. But then we cut back to the Rev 12.
Yeah, pretty bold statement there. And I was expecting a really epic like time weapon, like in his sentiment. Like it's like from existence. I mean, they'll destroy each other with phasers. Yes. It's a bit of a hoity-toity way of saying that. Look, I'm a man of many artistic talents. Yeah, thanks, Dad.
Jesus Christ.
Well, I did think the planet destruction looked phenomenal. It gave me both, like, and this one in particular gave me senses of Planitia, that kind of open scape with the towers.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
That was a Planitia sort of vibe. And then there's a shot from above where it looked like Gallifrey from Doctor Who. Similar, I mean, not the same, but similar artistry. That central... Mm-hmm. So, some nice visuals, for sure. But definitely it felt to me like, you know, the wasteland of a nuclear winter. Just sun winter, you know.
Yeah. But then they get on the Rev 12 and they find out that the proto-warp is ready now, so they need to get over there quickly.
Mm-hmm. Every second matters.
Indeed it does.
It could be that Gwen's arrival caused the Civil War. Well, I mean, hey, Gwen's a clone, an unapproved clone. So certainly it'll be a testament to oh dear. Squadron Corps, save the progeny, save the world. That's good. That's good. I like that.
Yeah.
Hold on. Great point by Liam there. I also think it's important not to take that the diviner says as gospel. He may not have been there and is relying on what he's told has happened.
Yes.
Or he's twisted it to get what he wants. Very true. You know, we don't tend to trust the villains all of the time.
Yeah.
Like the last time he said, I'll do this, and he tries to kill them all. So that's, hey, retcon. But not really. He lies. It's all good. I like it.
A Saucy Puppet Show throws in $5. I just hope what actually happens winds up being as good as any of the theories you guys have come up with. We do too. They've
had good, cool ideas, a lot. Yeah. So I'm not. It's very much just a wait and see, and it's a testament to them to leave the breadcrumbs but not be too obvious, because there's more of the story to come than we've had by a long way. So, yeah. Oh, so they get the Stanleys preventing genocide by committing genocide. Oh, yeah.
So they have to beam over to the ship before it jumps proto-warp, because if it does, they're not going to be able to catch it. But there's of course, the little writing trope of, hey, you can only transport one at a time. So Dal beams over and says, I'll let you know my plan when I have one.
It's like Kirk.
Beats out. So it's like, good job, Dal.
I'm assuming these are designed for Dreadnought, these transporters, because they're huge and there's 3 of them and they're in the middle of a big empty room. Kind of feels like... Yeah. I love showing them, and I appreciate their circles, but like, why are there 3 transporters in the middle of the bridge? I don't know. Yeah. And did you note he was also JJ beaming almost?
Yep. I didn't know that.
So why are they both using JJ beaming? Remember that.
It'd be cool if we see later, like we see Janeway beam over, like the Admiral Janeway, and it's just like a regular transporter beam.
That'd be a nice payoff, yeah.
Yeah.
All
right, back on the holodeck, and she's like, "Oh wait a minute."
Well, no, we've said that, but yeah, what if both the ships are just all from the JJ verse? And yeah, I can imagine that Kelvin humans aren't quite as pleasant, and they make first contact and not go back, and
we made first contact good. Yeah, it was a Packwood captain in the Kelvin verse.
Oh dear.
Anyway, so Gwen's asking him what he put on the ship, and he says, just as the Federation ignited our Civil War, when the Protostar comes into contact with a Starfleet vessel, our weapon will release a signal that will corrupt their systems, turning their ships against each other until the entire alliance is reduced to nothing.
Bold words.
Stupidest freaking plan I've ever heard in my life.
I'm going to quickly grab another drink, and you can explain why to the wonderful audience. Or, in fact, I'm going to end the poll. You can start a new poll. It's not fun to see what you come up with. So the Diviner came back from 50 plus years in the future. What did you think of the reveal? Knew he was from the future. 41%. 36%. Amazing. Loved it. Nice reveal. 23%. Underwhelming, to be honest. Right, you do a new poll. I'm going back in a second.
What kind of poll can I do? Hit the like button, guys. We're 6 away from 100. So hit that like button. Let's see. All right, so what do you... I'm going to talk about this in a second, this poll, because I'm going to talk about his plan a little bit. Right. There we go. Ask the community. There we go. All right, cool. We'll get to the super chats in a second, guys. Samuel was back for a second. Now he's not, so we're just gonna wait. Can't really talk about it much without. The new poll is up. What do you think of the Diviner's plan? Doesn't make sense. It's brilliant, or needs more of an explanation. Kyrian says there's a good interview with the producers that tries about uniforms and combat just rabbit. Yes, we read it. We've read it. We know all about it. But like we've said, they tend to be a little deception-wise. Deception-wise, devious, and say things that aren't necessarily true. So take it with a grain of salt for sure. So now that he's back, Kit 10K, $10.
Oh,
with today's internet, I'd love to see them do an episode where fans vote on how an episode ends. Basically with the 100th episode of the show Psych several years ago. Yeah, really old choose your own adventure stories. Yeah. Dave puts in £2.
Thank you.
Plan sounds like the bag Cylon's virus.
Yep.
ST control.
Yes, it really does.
But yeah,
feels like an homage though, because it's been done before. It's just they did it as quite a major plot point.
Yeah. He said that he even goes on to say that the protostars are destiny. Starfleet will welcome it back with open arms, and then will tear itself apart from within. It's like,
Now this also makes me consider.
The plan is so flawed.
Yeah, and you would think just he would have time to plan it and think it and do it, and it also makes me think. So the protostar is from the future. At least it was from the future from when then they went back in time, obviously because they went back in time. If this future ship then pops into Starfleet, how are they going to react? You know, back with open arms, is that because, oh my god, a ship from the future? But is it not the most obscene coincidence if he literally finds the ship the year it's launched and it happens to be the exact year? Like, that can't be logical, the chance of that happening. Which also means the protostar, there's two of him. Because if he stole the ship from now and back in time, wouldn't he then try and communicate with himself? Like, logically, because if you can change history, you would know when you first came back in time. You'd communicate with yourself, say, hey, Diviner, don't waste 17 years. Shoot the shields first, etc. So he can't. The protostar can't have been from now, which means it's now a future ship going into the present. It also means Janeway's from the future, but we kind of guessed that. There's definitely, you know. And if the protostar was already lost, then find, stolen, whatever, then the Diviner's already come in, already gone back in time again. But then wouldn't like I say, the Diviner would call himself. He knows where he ends up. He knows how. He has ships. He can communicate 4,000 light years with a Protostar. Why can't he communicate with his own future version, or past version of his own ship? Do you know what I mean?
Yes.
If you've got a 17-year window to change your own personal history again, to make it to not waste 17 years, wouldn't you do that?
Yeah, well, if you knew where you were, how to get in touch with yourself, I guess. I don't know.
Which he does, because he's already done it once.
Timey-wimey issues.
Is.
SVS Guru 2000 throws in €5.
Thank you.
The upload virus to mess with the IFF is what the Terrans did in STO. Never spread beyond the system and was solved eventually. Yeah, that's the thing. How far can this transmit? Like, you're not gonna. Hey, Earth, how's it going? Space dock, all the ships around Earth, which there's never any ships around Earth because the Enterprise is the only ship in the quadrant ever. So, infect a couple of ships, a couple of systems. Yeah. It just doesn't make sense.
Yeah, Starfleet has hundreds of ships, if not between 1 and 3,000, depending if you count, if you include the old bad ships. I mean, I can't include the good ships, There's a lot of ships to infect. And if ships are, if it's like a ever spreading virus where once they're into another version of Starship, it sends the signal. Fine, that could be quite fun, but there'll still be distance between ships enough, and then suddenly, all of a sudden, they'll hear, Captain O'Brien, we've got reports that 93 Federation ships are attacking each other, all colonies. Okay, well, let's work out what's happening. We're lucky to have all of the Delta, Beta, and Alpha Quadrant, Gamma Quadrant ships. I don't know. It's such a nebulous idea. It's interesting. It's very interesting because it harkens. It gives you this me at least a mental image of, it warping in, and then we see like Captain Naomi Wildman. She's too young, but like another officer we know, or like the descendant of one, saying, "Oh, it's a IFF Federation starship. Hail them!" As soon as they hail them, like the ship, the view screen like has red static like the L cars of his ship, and then power goes down. View screen comes back on, and then just torpedoes start firing. And you cut to exterior, and you see multiple ships fighting each other. It's like, that's a cool visual. But if you destroy each other, then what have you gained? Obviously, if you can go into a pocket of ships, have them destroy each other, or even no witnesses, you've then created a self-fulfilling 8 ships, 10 ships lost, 5 ships lost, 3 ships lost. But with hundreds of ships, that'll take a while. And then if the planet's going to be destroyed, especially if he now has the getting the Protostar means you can proto warp anywhere. So his plan isn't to save his ship, it's to destroy the Federation before his planet is destroyed. Which is fine, but then how long until his planet's getting first contacted? He's lost 17 years already, minimum. So if he knows there's 10 more years, fine. But then that's a long time to be, whatever.
Yeah, it opens up a whole lot of problems, this time travel shit. So
I kind of would have loved it actually if they'd said, because of Captain Chakotay, I lost it. I have to go back in time again. He has to re-go back in time to read like it happened again already. They've got to unredo it. Oh, sorry, Matt. You could do it. You could do it. Sorry.
Dave puts in £2. Enemy from the future sitting around sounds like Star Trek 09. Yes. Nero, a lot of people know this, but Nero was sitting in the Klingon prison for 25 years. Well, a chunk of it anyway.
It's a great plan he had.
Anyway, moving on.
Dal comes in.
Gwen's like, you can't trade one tragedy for another. We can never go back. And she's all like, yeah. And then Dal comes in and tries to be a hero.
And doesn't fire straight away. Stuart, why doesn't he fire straight away on double stun?
I don't know. Why is the Diviner's suit fixed? Oh, I don't know. Just because.
And the tentacles can fly now.
They fly now?
They fly now! And used in proper context! Oh my god!
Yeah. General Grievous, $5. Is the virus the dreadnought virus, like the Rev 12 sent to the Protostar to take it over? Could that be the plan to take over the ships? I mentioned that earlier, having the dreadnought be recreated on via replicators, or there's vehicle replicators, or I don't know. Could be. I don't know. It was a shitty plan then. It was a shitty plan now.
The problem is the Protostars from the future with future tech. I don't think any other ships have vehicle replicators on board, so they can also download all of the. Remember, Dreadlock's virus is like terabytes. It took a long time to download. You know, it was a thing to do.
Yeah.
So I don't think
kids just didn't notice it because they're stupid.
Yeah, I don't think an average Reliant that's still flying has a vehicle replicator from the future and you know, so that's even more useless.
And it's not like they can take over all the astromech droids.
No, the dots! They could take over all the dots on every single ship.
Dots aren't, though.
I mean, dots are canon. Oh, can you imagine if that's literally the plan, is to take over all the dots, which are retconning back in, and then they fly around?
And the exocomp cleaners.
Yeah, because they have those too, yep. So basically at that point, it's Skynet. Just infect all the robot helpers.
Yep.
And then you see Law, and he's infected, oh my god, and B4, oh my god. And... So anyway, Gwen gets beaten up, moving on. Yeah. That's it, really. And
Zero.
Beams into the holodeck, I guess, despite Dahl not beaming into the holodeck. I don't know how he's behind him. The Archer's a single place. We saw it. And then he's here. But he could have also been here as part of a plan that one time didn't add anything to the story.
SVS Guru 2005 euros. Most ships probably don't have vehicle replicators, maybe normal replicators, making tiny dreadnoughts with chipmunk voices. Yeah.
My laser guns are so powerful. No, stop it. No, look, I need that hair. Yes, look, laser hair removal, you're perfect, but not killing me. Go ahead. Smash. Yeah, that's funny.
Anyway, Zero's like, it's time to show you who I truly am. So you cannot hurt anyone else. It's at this point, just close your eyes or turn the fuck around, but okay, whatever.
And Kieran has an interesting, at least, question. When do you think First Contact happened, given Starfleet is about to be crippled after the Mars attack?
Good question. In the article, they say because this is an unprecedented era of peace for the Federation, so they're branching out and doing things, and Protostar can, travel great distances, so they're... I don't know. That's a very good question. I don't have an answer.
I don't think Starfleet's crippled at all, because they dedicated Planitia entirely to building a rescue fleet.
It's true.
They have lots of other places that build ships, and they have all their current fleet, so it wouldn't cripple them at all. It'll just slow down production of more ships, but since a lot of the construction yards are in orbit of things, it only cripples the ground building facilities. They still have plenty of other planets to do it, so it would slow them down, but wouldn't by any means stop a ship from first contacting. Not at all.
Maybe the virus causes androids to attack Mars. As card flashbacks.
Oh,
Would that line up time-wise?
No, yeah. God, that'd be a retcon, wouldn't it? If we're just ignoring the, because they didn't. I mean, wow. You know, the Diviners working with Romulans. The Jav. Maybe. Oh, I don't know. I mean, hey, 40 episodes. They're only a couple of years off Picard era flashbacks. So that, I mean, let me look at the eras, because they're not far off actually. It's interesting.
Guys, let's go vote on the poll. We have 105 likes. We need 120. So hit that like button.
Yeah. Next year, Mars burns. So, and if they're not gonna get around for another, 6-8 months, yeah. But only Mars, though. Only synths. But then also Jurati's wrong, because it's not Romulan plot, which means her being thrown out of Starfleet for no reason is even more no reason. But what a retcon. No, Michael Chabon, it wasn't the Romulans, it was a Vadrash, whatever his name is, from the future, from an alternate timeline where they killed his planet. Michael Chabon was like, what's Prodigy? Yeah.
Sorry, I was trying to remember.
Thank you. I'm undoing your work, Michael.
Your work suck balls.
Also, we did Hobus too. What? Because we're canon. You're some other track. We're canon, so we can redo the.
Look at the poll results.
Oh.
I'm surprised.
Trekyards, 13 minutes ago, 66 votes. What do you think of the Diviner's plan? 76% needs more of an explanation. 24% doesn't make any sense, and 0% it's brilliant. Which I
didn't expect 0% for it's brilliant.
we never see that. That's shocking, actually. Wow.
It's supposed to show you it's not great. So, anyway.
Very cool.
Anyway, Zero reveals its true form, and it drives the Diviner crazy. Because of course you'd look at it.
I mean, I call this like 3 episodes. I said, of course he'd do this. It's the obvious revenge. It makes Zero look certainly more, vicious. But he's pissed. I mean, I'm not going to blame him, them, it, Alien for doing it. But, it's like, oh, there you go. Diviner, gone.
And, so yeah, Zero shuts it down, essentially.
It's nice the holodeck can contain all this, devastating power levels. Because this is in a holodeck. Not even a flickering holo grid.
Anyway, Gwen keeps saying, we can't go, we can't go, we can't go. Zero feels bad because didn't want to hurt any of her friends. His friend. Is Zero a girl or a guy?
Neither. Well, you can't be gendered if you're an energy being, yeah. It's like Q's a snake. But also, a man most of the time. Yeah, I didn't think the reflection was that brilliant. But I appreciate it's a memory wipe rather than a golden stain. I think that was at least a way of doing it. Smarter than some. But yeah, Zero is like, yes, if you go villain mode, of course bad stuff happens. It's called villain karma. Yeah.
I am Misi throws in $5.
There you go.
Am I overthinking that Dal was largely unaffected by it? Gwen couldn't seem to look away at all. He knew not to look, though.
Well, so did she. She was just... It's her dad.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a different drive. Thomas. Yes. Stay. And this was a bit weird, actually. They now beamed aboard. It's about one at a time. So the third person didn't start to act. Clearly implied. But why didn't Janeway, who was reactivated, then hollow into the room? Why is she outside the door, coming with the door? She can just appear in the room and help.
Good question.
Why would she... I thought that was a really weird moment. Like, well, thanks, Janeway. Yeah. Especially as you were ninja mode. You literally took the guy out earlier. As soon as they get to the bridge, turn you back on. As soon as that happens, you go down, you... Whoosh. Yeah. Like, what were you doing, Janeway? Nothing is the answer.
Yeah. Well, I got to read the training log, though.
Oh, please do.
It's really well done. I am Misi, though. Before we do
Wait, she says I am Misi? Wow.
$20.
She knew our fan base. My goodness.
Rock showed that the holodeck records sessions, so they should be able to see what the Diviner said to Gwen.
I was going to get into that later, yes. You say your stuff and we'll bring that up because I want to have a discussion about that.
All right. So training log, stardate 61103.1. Though victory came at a price, the crew of the USS Protostar... Why did it do that? It's very underwhelming, sorry. Hold on a second. All right. Computer's being a bastard. All right, here we go. Open up. Come on. The crew of the USS Protostar proved exemplary in securing transport for the large many who could not help themselves, transforming a symbol of captivity into a vehicle for liberation. While learning to fly a ship has its inherent struggles, after what I've seen from my own crew, I have faith of the heart they'll figure it out. As for the Diviner, he is now the sole unwanted, banished to live the rest of his life in the ruins of his own making. His reign of terror foreseeably over. I'll read the rest later, but let's talk about that stuff right now.
Poetic. I'm glad Mulgrew got some lines.
Yeah, giving the ship to the unwanted and hoping they don't die. Cool.
There's gonna be some level of crew among them because they don't pick children. The one was the exception to the rules. So yeah, I mean they're allowed to. There's a ship from the future though, guys. That's a bit of a risky thing because they have. I don't think the Diviner had to flee to the computer database. They now have future knowledge of the quadrant of Starfleet. I mean, this ship is a massive threat to the temporal power. Yeah, why isn't Relativity warping in and saying, guys, we can't let you take this future ship because you'll change the timeline, so yoink? Fair enough.
It's a good question. And why doesn't they show up for every time travel thing? Because
yes.
Anyway, what do you think about the Diviner? Because they say banished to live the rest of his life in the ruins of his own making. Implied to me that he was put on the mining asteroid.
Buried alive. Buried alive. Buried alive. Sorry.
So I assumed he was left on the asteroid. Other people think that he's in the holodeck. I don't think they would take him with them. Who cares about him, honestly? But thoughts?
I mean, clearly implied in everything it's showing and telling us, they left him on Thingy Lamora to starve to death alone, mad, walking through.
Crazy, yeah.
I mean, that's vicious beyond belief. I know they're children, but Janeway's all about Federation values. I don't think this is humane at all. So it's not good. It would make more sense to put him in the brig or in the holodeck because, I mean, they said they don't know he's in the future. At least they should know, but they don't. But this is horrible. And even
put
if they
him in the brig in a straitjacket.
Yeah,
he's crazy.
Yeah, put him in some crew quarters. Yeah, and even if they had given him a replicator, he's probably too mad to use it, and he might use it to escape. And also, the planet was only being inhabitable because of the oxygen given by the Diviner's Rev 12 ship. So, because that was powering the entire life support. So they had to put an artificial air generator in a cave to let their man starve to death, and they're going to make replicated rations for him. But then again, he's insane. So horrible, quite gruesome. They don't explicitly say on the real asteroid, which might be the get out of jail free card, he's in a holodeck. But now you've got the holodeck unlimitedly used as this place, which takes it out as a storage mechanism. So horrible. I
hope he's on the asteroid because I don't care.
But as I said in our review, he's on the asteroid and they're going to jump to the Alpha Quadrant, but they can just jump back. So he's a
Yes.
Get out of jail free card.
We got some super chats before we get to the last little part here.
Fantastic.
Casual Trekker, $5.
Thank you.
Diviner comes from 2430s to 2383. Steals the ship from Chakotay and puts the weapon in. Chakotay gets free, takes back command, and sends the ships through something and watched an escape pod. Diviner follows the ship back, arrives before the ship does in 2258. Diviner looks for it for X amount of years. Then the Protostar arrives in 2283 where the kids find it, and the Diviner tries to get back to activate his weapon that he didn't get to do before.
Yeah, a lot of that stuff sounds about right.
Yeah, because I mentioned that too, that maybe Chakotay reclaimed the ship after and hit it, or yeah.
Or maybe they kept Chakotay on the ship to help pilot it, to know how to use a ship, and the rest of the crew who got out.
Yeah. Kit 10K throws in $10.
Thank you.
Samuel, when you did your buried alive thing, you forgot one thing. Con. No, I was supposed to say the con part. I forgot that. Con.
I was just having fun with it.
General Grievous, $2. Right, because the holodeck held Gwen so well. LOL. I mean, he's insane, so he wouldn't necessarily realize he was in a holodeck.
Yeah. There's a lot of things there. But
Fry Minis.
Oh.
Puts in $2. Tiny cat person should have ate the Diviner. Yeah.
Well, speaking of ate the Diviner, he's also shirtless, out of his back to tank. So he's also dying old man age disease which also devalued the need for him to have that, because it's like, well, he doesn't need it then, does he? Like, he's fine.
Yep.
Yep. They basically just shit the bed a bit on him as a character, let's be honest. They had him, they used him, they threw him away.
Yep. Well, let's continue the log, because this is the second part now. But was the price too steep? Since the incident, Zero hasn't left Gwen's side. Had she seen more of a reflection, Gwen could have been lost forever. Thankfully, though, the only thing lost were her memories of the event. Convenient. These voyages have left an indelible mark on this crew. New worlds sought new life and new civilizations, all to gain a little understanding of our greater galaxy, the potential of our greater selves. And they've learned that they will be stronger together. Blah, blah, blah. Anyway, good ending bit by Janeway.
Whole new uniform again. Now you got a medical dress garb version. All white a la Discovery. She's got a comm badge, so it's a full uniform. It's not just like scrubs. Although now I appreciate the tricorder more, because it's now a 50-year advanced tricorder. Potentially. That's why it looks not like a tricorder, because it's not. It's a 50-year future pad thing with see-through stuff.
Yeah.
Which also explains why the tricorder's phase more advanced, because it can do everything now. Because it's 50 years. Give or take.
And Murphy eats the pad, or the whatever, and it's got I guess Rock Talk was something about shrimp. Weird, but okay.
Yeah, I thought that was really cute. Then the all-important coffee. Always the important coffee.
And then the whole, hey guys, we can go back to the Federation now. And she's like, huh? Yeah, it's cool.
Hashtag best plan.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, good on them.
Yeah, it was a super wrap-up-y wrap-up.
It felt like a season finale for sure. Yeah.
Yeah, and it was reasonably satisfying, but also because it was all so easy, it wasn't necessarily. As you said, they had no plan, and then no plan succeeded. So you're like, good job.
I hate how it ended though. The log with each of them be a prodigy in the end.
But the show,
Prodigy in the making.
The show's called Starship Prodigy, though. They have to say it at least once, I guess.
Yeah, and then they warp out, and that's the end. We get credits, and
that's it. There's no more.
See where the adventure goes from here. So,
that's it.
My closing thoughts.
We'd have a riot if we didn't talk about it. You know that, don't you?
Yep. Oh, we got 1% that says it's brilliant. Because we said something about 0%. So somebody, of course, had to...
Because, of course. Only natural.
Anyway.
So, no, I liked up to this point. It felt very ending. I like the fact they said, okay, we're going to the Federation. We've succeeded in beating our Season 1 idea. Then we have to go fight, be part of the Season 2 idea. It's focused, it's strong, we've passed the Diviner, very clear vibe of that. Right, moving forward. Just, there's more things. Although, they're out of uniform, which is okay. The uniforms aren't amazing, but they're able to do that now.
Lee will get to that in a second. IMEC throws in $5.
Thank you.
How would Chakotay be captain 50 years in the future? He would be 100. Don't see how it could be from that far in the future.
I mean, this is the future. Medical tech is fantastic. Do you know how Janeway was fully assimilated and then made look normal again with all of her hair? Yeah. So, pretty sure he could be fine and captain.
It could also be that he wasn't initially the captain of the Protostar. If the Diviner confiscated it, used it for time travel, brought it back, lost it somehow, the Federation found it, assigned Chakotay to test it out. Who knows?
Oh, yeah.
There's a lot of possibilities.
Yeah. Oh, it's very, very likely that he jumped back first to find the Protostar itself, because that was the key to, it's the only ship apart from the Spore Drive ship that can instantly jump in and out of a situation. So the Diviner probably went back in time to steal the Protostar, because he had the records of it, to then use it, etc. 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 But yes, fades to black, and then back up from black.
Well, before that, S1 Noir says, why are they out of uniform? Well, I'm glad they are. They're going to wear the uniforms sometimes for mission things, I guess. And that's fine.
Yeah, and General Grievous says, Bones 135 in Farpoint, still in active service, was very old, but he also was from before TOS, whereas Chakotay was born way after TOS. So 50, 60 years of modern technology to keep you younger. So I have zero. I mean, Picard should be younger than he is at 96. I mean, Picard's only old because Patrick's old. If he was, 100 is 60, and you can still be acting in a service at that age. It's more about the grey hair. He should have looked older if he was that old. But
yeah. Fry Minis, $2. I wish Harry was on the Dauntless. Still ensign.
Oh.
Dauntless? What are you talking about?
Well, Harry would have been great as second in command. That would have been a nice double cameo.
Yeah.
Commander Kim, yes, Captain, and he's doing a Janeway impersonation. It's like, what? do I know this in this universe? Yes, I'm just like Garrett. Oh yeah, Garrett has to appear. Come on, Garrett. But yes, the Protostar.
Yes, we get the reveal of I'm detecting a proto warp signature again. That makes 3 times now, which I love. They've been trying to find the ship based on the drive, and they've used it 3 times. So.
And it actually in pretty short succession.
Yeah. Well, she even says 2 times is a coincidence, 3 is a pattern. Finally back on the grid.
Well, who says that though?
Janeway, Admiral Janeway. Yeah. It's time we rescue our missing ship and get some answers. Take us to the last Protostar signature, maximum warp. I'm coming, Chakotay.
Now straight away, warp, not slipstream. And maximum warp with an expectation of soon means they're in the Delta Quadrant. And they're not that far, because it takes a while to get places. Now, yes, if they're a future ship, they might be able to get warp 13 or some such, like, they can all good things. I'm absolutely fine with that. But, a bit of an odd ending line, given that's really far away. But yes, it cuts the exterior, and it is the USS Dauntless NCC80816. Not NX Dauntless.
So,
USS NCC. Full.
Yes, so built after the Protostar, if you go by the registries, quite a bit after. Same. The Protostar is NX76 something.
Although you can imagine that maybe if it was in the drawing board for like 5 or 6 years, it was built, and then this was a fresh build, actually a new ship. So I could see that being, whatever. But it's obviously a current day Janeway to the current day Chakotay. So they both have grey streaks in their hair, which also makes this uniform contemporary to the Protostar uniform because that's from their database. So these 2 people are contemporary.
Yes.
These 2 ships.
And we have videos coming out about the ship, the uniforms, and the comm badge specifically that you guys need to watch. So stay tuned. But yeah. SPS Guru, 2,005 euros. Commander Kim and it's Harry's son. Harry is still an ensign.
Yeah. So I'm just going to, in your poll, do another poll about this scene in particular. So what do you think of the Diviner's plan? 74% needs more explanation. 25% doesn't make sense. 1% is brilliant. And that was the Diviner himself. He walked in and... Yeah, it's brilliant. Click. Aha!
108 likes, 98 people here, guys. Hit that like button. Let's get up to 120 if possible. Honestly, another $50 in super chats would be a great number. So a couple 5s, a couple 10s. We're going to be doing our scoring soon. So if you want to super chat your score, I'll read those out. And if you just want to do it in the regular chat, Samuel will read those out, your score for the episode. But yeah, so like I said, we have videos coming out specifically about the ship, the Dauntless, which we have seen before in Voyager, kind of, and the uniforms and the comm badge, because there's a lot of weird things going on with this stuff, and we're going to talk about that and break all that down for you guys as well. And yes, I know there was an article written about the comm badge and the uniform, and
But they also
yes,
mislead, so.
we are aware, but they are misleading because that's their job, unfortunately.
Because do you really think they would spoil everything as soon as this thing came out? Also, oh no, that's not really Janeway, it's from an alternate universe. Oh shit, that was a reveal of season 2, episode 6. Damn it, I just gave it away, etc.
Yeah.
But no,
Right, so
we did notice more about the stuff than you think. Like, we really deep dived, so it's definitely worth a watch.
The new poll. What did you think of the last scene? Wow, loved it. Cool, great to see. Was okay, didn't feel much. Didn't like it, not really at all.
Yes.
There you go. Go vote in the poll, guys.
Vote now. But I'll say it is a very, very good replica of the Dauntless Bridge, almost verbatim to the point of.
Yep.
But the exterior is heavily, heavily different. But obviously, it's not the same ship, and we know it's not the same ship. Both the one was destroyed, or at least assimilated, but it's a fresh build, Dauntless variant-esque thing, which is very different actually. And I can't say I'm a huge fan of its cutout, or even a slight fan. But it's nice to see, and a lot of it's clearly care intention to make it look like what it should look like. And then, well, yeah, it's a Federation slant, because that ship was not designed for anything except what it was. This is a totally different purpose, etc.
Yeah. Well, the spine on it is very reminiscent of the Intrepid class, the Voyager.
Well, actually, you mentioned that, yeah. It was pointed out that this looks very much like a hybrid of the Dauntless and the Voyager concept that Rick Sternbeck did, one of them, with that long second piece. Which it is. It really, really is. And what a great thing to utilise is that sort of, yeah.
All right, Metallica fan 1442, £5.
Thanks.
So with the comm badge, do we think this is a mirror alt universe? Also, thanks for the stream. We talk about that. We have a video specifically about the comm badge, but it's probably an alternate timeline or reality of some sort, but we're not really sure. We do go into quite a bit of this detail and discussion about it in that video, so I would say check that out. That'll be on that won't be on the weekend. That'll be probably Monday or Tuesday, I would assume. Yeah,
plenty to release. But no, it's we assume alternate reality, just another aborted timeline, as there are many, and I'm fine with that. I'm quite excited about that actually.
Fry Minis, $2. Do you talk about pilots' red boots in the uniform video? Yes, we do.
Yes, we do.
Welcome to Trekyards. We talk about everything.
Yes, indeed.
So watch that episode then.
Oh, guys, we're only $20 away from our number. So right there, guys. Right there.
Just as a $20 super chat comes in.
Well, we're 0 guys away from, so, I'll put another 5 in. And Admiral Savolis, not the Dauntless. From Stowe? What, which version is that then? Because it's not the Dauntless. I don't think they would use a Stowe design. Well, I mean, maybe. Well, you can kit bash lots of things from Stowe, but I don't think they'll just use a Stowe one.
Yeah. George Mangrum, $5. It would have been cool if the Trill Girl was Barnes or Tal. Yeah. Lieutenant Barnes from Lower Decks.
Well, no, because she's currently on the Cerritos.
Yeah.
But, I mean...
Andy Yorich, $5. I'm very confused by the timelines here. You're supposed to be.
Yes.
That's their intention.
Kieran says, Janeway is from an alternate timeline. How can the ship protect Prostar from another timeline? No. The Prostar came back from the future. From their future. They both shared a future. It's Endgame again. Endgame is now an alternate future. So, there was a future. They both came back together. Or as if... Well... I mean, we're now seeing in Picard that the star jump is back. So, Janeway could probably just have star jumped. It can be... I mean, can be that easy. And maybe Slipstream is a part of time jumping as well. It's even easier. So easily.
Patrick James throws in $20.
Thank
you so much.
Thank you.
I must confess, my favorite scene is to see the Medusan take action to save the day. Sorry, I forgot the character's name. That's Zero.
Dang. Yes, sir.
SVS Guru 2000 throws in €5.
Thank you.
Never liked the Dauntless design. Proportions are off. I'm with you, my friend. And it looked like whoever made the model just discovered the Turbo Smooth modifier.
I mean, but the thing is, they're future ships, aren't they? 50 years, and look, the Gen Hay is real freaking detailless, so fits with them, I guess.
Guys, this is my time to remind you to subscribe and click the notification bell icon if you want to see all these breakdown videos where we go into deep dives of the details and the discussion of alternate realities and time and issues and things like that.
With all of the graphics.
Yes. I am Misi throws in an amazing $50 super chat.
Oh my god.
Thank you so much.
Amazing.
So much Trek, so little time. Thanks for all the videos. I give this episode a 7, and the 2-part as a whole an 8.5. Okay. Kit 10K throws in $50 as well.
Oh my god. Woo!
The Dauntless that Janeway is commanding, while it is pretty cool, the drive section just doesn't look right to me. It's because it's its own design. It's not the Dauntless.
It's very, very different. Like, it's probably more like,
different.
yeah, it's more different than similar, I think.
Yep.
Yeah.
All it shares is the name and the pointy front end, really.
I mean, a lot of the little greebly detail are pulled directly from, but those aren't the main thing. And in fact, I know obviously in the show, standard definition, only a few angles. Like, we never even saw the shuttle bay ever in a single shot. I've used the model quite a bit in our episode. We've done it with Rick. So if you've seen the ship as much as I have, you kind of know the proportions, etc. I take it for granted a bit because I know it really quite well. But yeah.
Dynamic Thrill says, I'm not buying that this is an alternate universe, especially with the establishment of lower decks that there are different uniforms throughout Starfleet. Let's find out different uniforms throughout Starfleet, but there are things to discuss with the alternate reality thing.
Yeah, so. Remember, alternate reality com badge. And they already had time travel. Once you have time travel, you have an alternate reality, because things shift. Have you seen Endgame? Or Timeless? Or All Good Things, sort of.
Yeah.
Yes.
A Saucy Puppet Show throws in $10, so thank you so
much.
You. Raise more questions than answers, but I'm excited to see where it goes. One of the most Star Trekiest Star Treks in a while.
Yes. Well, and in fact, we now have precedent. Every season, big starship thingy to happen. We had the Enterprise turn up. We had the Janeway turn up. We had the Titan turn up. We had the Cerritos technically turn up to save the other, whatever it was called. And now this show up. So we're creating some precedents here for big Starfleet epic endings. With a hero that saves the day. Ha-ha.
Squadron Course.
God, it feels Riker again. Always Riker.
Squadron Course throws in $2. Woot, I can super chat again a little bit anyway. Every little bit helps, man.
Yes, it does.
Patrick James throws in $50. Jeez. Guys, you guys are spoiling us. Competition, yay! Yes, competition. Let's see how many 50s
but we love you all equally. And we just love some more equally. Amazing. And, guys, last month was medium for us, and this is a great push. And considering, guys, we're also doing the Trekyards retrospective tomorrow, which we haven't actually announced yet, I don't think. So tomorrow, at a certain time, which Stuart will say in a second, we're doing the Drunk retrospective, which will be, we rewatch all 10 episodes, and then we have the booze that you guys make us have by your super chats at certain donation amounts, where 50 will have a real effect on us, as you guys know. And we'll review them all, 1 to 10, again, re-score them, and I'll then tell me and Stuart what we ranked the episodes, both first watch, where we knew no retrospective stuff, and then after the fact, we now have all the expectations removed, etc. And so I can tell us our favourite episodes. I always love those, because this in particular will be fun, because there's such a story and narrative. What hints did they leave, etc., etc. Yeah.
Casual Trekker, $5. Why can't Janeway be in the prime timeline just a couple of years after Lower Decks, and that badge can just be the official badge? She absolutely can be, but there's arguments for and against. So,
I mean, it could, but then the ProStar still did go back in time. What's the chances that she's been searching? What do you think the ProStar happened to have left this year? If the ProStar went back in time, why would she be searching that during that time for the ship she went back in time? If she didn't know it went back in time, then how would she know went to the... You know what I mean? There's more questions there from that. It makes way more sense she came back in time too.
Yeah. Patrick James puts in $50. Have you done a top 10 animated ship lists? I don't recall.
No, I think so.
Well, I think we did some from the animated series.
Oh, well.
Top 10, but there's a lot more now, so I'll have to do another one. SVS Guru, €2,005. If they know what they are going to have If they know that they are going to have a super close-up of an LCAR screen, why did they use super pixelated animated texture? I don't know. Good question. General Grievous, $5. Oh my God. Riker is the best poker player in the galaxy, getting an entire Romulan fleet to stand down with a bunch of ships with no phasers, phaser arrays, or torpedo launchers.
Or RCS thrusters, or blinkies, or deflector dish, or escape pods, or transport emitters. Yep. 500 unfinished ships. Amazing.
Kit 10K throws in $100 super chat, which is phenomenal.
And not even
it's like a drunkyards.
And it's not even you're not even trying to get us drunk. Like this would have been so much alcohol tomorrow.
Been good tomorrow, yeah. I'm not complaining, but
no,
that's what he says.
Our bladders thank you for a pre-drunk super chat. Wow.
So Stuart, you say we're spoiling you. Hell yeah, because you guys are worth it. Aw. You guys do a lot of hard work, and we all appreciate it, and you too. Thank you for Fail's great content. For all the great content, I think you need to say. But yes, thank you so much.
Well, your fails, great too.
Yeah.
No, I mean, as you guys know, that's incredible, and Kit certainly really turned last month around. Has already helped this month a lot, and we don't ask for a lot in terms of what we need to live, and so we can get that. We're pretty happy, and then anything above that's lovely. Phenomenal, and like I said, guys, join us for tomorrow's Trekyards live, which Stuart, announce the time.
2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
There you go. So we're aiming for about 4-hour live. Give or take. So obviously won't be as detailed in the episodes, but I'm excited about that. Be fun to retrospect.
Now it's time for our final reviews and scores. I'll go into mine real quick. I don't have much to say besides what I already did say, which, like I said, with Prodigy, they've unfortunately set the bar very high with each episode, and you can't just keep creating better content. There's going to be a few bumps in that road. This, to me, was a bump in the road. The episode overall as a whole felt like it fell together, like there was no plan at all from the kids. Dreadnought getting taken out so easily, didn't enjoy that. The explanation from the diviner was an explanation, but it's not. Like it did raise more questions than it answered. And honestly, the last minute here of this with Janeway was the redeeming factor for this episode. Like, this was great. Now we've got a lot more questions, unfortunately, but the way the episode ended, it did feel like a season finale. Good voiceover by Kate Mulgrew, and then to get this epic reveal of the actual Admiral Janeway, which the kids are going to respect and know when they finally meet her, so they're going to be able to trust her, which is really important. So it was a good setup to the second half of the season. An okay closer to the part one. I think the part one was better in my mind. As a whole, it's not too bad though. Honestly, this one for my score is going to be 6.7 out of 10. It was okay. The ending was too short to prop it up any more than that, and I just wasn't a fan of the way it fell together. The one good character moment really was Rock Talk taking over from Jankum, which was fantastic because that tied in with what the character doesn't want to be security, doesn't want to be the muscle, learned a lot of stuff, and I thought that was great. Other than that, characters really didn't get much going on. So,
would you say one of this episode's biggest weaknesses is 24 minutes?
Yes, yeah.
Because really,
I would say that.
Because double the time, you could have had a nice, proper Dreadnought sequence. You could have had more satisfying how they got off the thing. Could have had more. I think that was because they crammed a lot in. And I told you, all the crew stuff was part one. To make sure part two felt, they could put enough time in. Yeah. So okay. So 6.75. You said.
Yeah.
6.7. Yeah. So yes, my closing thoughts is I do mirror what you said. They reached a real high early on, and these aren't quite living up to it. But when you create a massive narrative and you choose to doll it out in such a small way, you're looking for satisfying payoffs, and the ending was hella satisfying. But the whole thing shouldn't It's like the Enterprise at the end of Discovery season 1. That makes the episode good, pretty much. So he's like, we're going to see the Enterprise. That is good.
Yeah.
It overshadowed everything else, etc. But there's definitely they don't make bad episodes. The writing's always pretty good. The pacing's always pretty good. The animation's still great. The characters evolved a ton. Rotok was fantastic. Gwen was fine. The acting's always very good. But it did feel like we pretty much ignored Dahl. Jankenpog was very secondary. Janeway was important for a half second, gone again. Important for half second, gone again. And at the end, given a big oomph. Gwen was just playing the listen without too much personal urgency beyond a certain point. And the Diviner was actively not saying things that he could have been saying, etc. So it was very much a narrative-driven, limited by the amount of time we have on the screen thing. And yes, the massive lack of plan by the kids was super evident. The luck factor was there. The ease of certain things was silly. Ruined both villains for, effective wise. I mean, who's to say that their plan, what if this guy was a plumber? The Diviner, he was a plumber in his old life, and then as soon as everything went to shit, he decided to become a supervillain. I mean, and Dreadnought might just have been yeah, he's a Mars vacuum. He's a Roomba Mark 47F, and then he installed laser beams. He doesn't know how to use them. So we're assuming these are like the big villains, but they could just be guys and robot. Because that's the thing, is that the scale of, if you're fighting kids, a less powerful villain is more powerful. A Starfleet crew versus him clearly wouldn't have been a bit of competition, etc. But interesting questions asked. Love to see the end of the combat and stuff. Score-wise, I'm not even going to look at what I did last week, so... But the thing is, that end gives it such a high score point. How do I average that in my brain?
I don't know. I figured out a way. It didn't make up for it in my mind. It didn't. Okay. It wasn't a good enough crutch for the episode to lean on.
I'm going to say 7.2.
Okay.
Because that's just my gut, because I don't think it's lower than a 7. Because it didn't do much bad, but I don't know. I'll have to see how we feel, because we are going to retrospect this pretty damn soon, so we can judge our scores later. I'm not even going to ask if this is the week of the season, because we haven't got there yet. We'll work that out tomorrow.
Yeah.
We'll see.
We got 2 more super chats. Kit 10K throws in $10. Yes, I meant thanks for all the great content. Friggin' fat finger typing.
Oh, and we do have some really good stuff coming this week. Really good analysis, really good graphics, really in depth.
So click the notification bell, guys. Yeah. That's important.
Yeah.
SBS Guru 2000 throws in €5.
Thank you.
Says, what I hate the most is that we are getting 5 episode crumbs and having to wait months for the next batch. Second worst thing is the episode length. I agree with both of those things. But thank God it's a good series and you want to come back to it, because, I think a lot of people would have tuned out if it wasn't for the quality of writing and just the attention to detail. So, but yeah. Do you want to read some of the non-super chat scores?
I'd love to. I want to know what people think. Where did it go? Okay, there it is. So we have a 9 out of 10, 7 out of 10, 9 out of 10, 7.5, 7.6, 8, 7.5, 9, 7, 7.5, 7, 8.0816. Oh, it's registry. That's good. I got there. I see you. 7.7, 8, 8.472, 10 out of 10. But for the whole season, 6.5, 8.5, 6.1, 5 or 7. So pretty varied scores. Either you absolutely love it, or you're on par with us. Which is that's an interestingly varied answer. Weird. Yeah. Interesting.
Well, good to know, guys. And join us tomorrow. Tomorrow, 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, which is 7 p.m. in the UK. We're going to be doing our drunk retrospective look at this. You guys get to feed us alcohol and have us talk about the episodes again, just kind of comparing our scores to what we see if our scores have changed at all after rewatching it. So should be fun.
Yeah.
Expect to spend an afternoon with us, but it'll definitely be interesting, and we like to do this for all series when they end, or all seasons when they end. It's always a fun thing to do. So the Discovery one might have to wait a bit because Picard will be on, so we'll see how that all plays out. But we will have one for Discovery and Picard both, and so yeah. But tomorrow is tomorrow. That is Prodigy. So I guess we'll call it there, guys.
Well,
Thank
although
you so much.
I briefly want to ask you and as fans want to know, what do you think of the Orville trailer? Tell the fans.
Ooh, it was awesome. Way cool CGI. The ship looks really good, very detailed, and I'm super stoked for it. It really got me right back into the Orville universe. I haven't watched Orville in a long time, and immediately you're just like home. It's like, this is awesome. So I mean, that's a good thing to see from a show that's been gone for a little while. So, how about you?
No, I mean, I showed you, and I was very, very pleased with it. Visual effects were phenomenal. I think it really has a step above. And they've never done bad. They've always done good visual effects, but they really amped up the quality. The cinematography was fantastic. The integration of outside and inside. I actually preferred the battle in that short trailer, which is the start of episode 1, to this battle we saw at the end of the season. I just liked the way it was framed better. I thought there was some cooler shots. I'm always thinking when I see those kids, God, they've aged, and having to not age, and like the young one looks young, but that might be the original shoot, and now he looks much older. So they had to like work around that. There's little problems with that they had to do, I'm sure. But yeah, I haven't watched Orville since our review. It's certainly out of the zeitgeist, but
They'll just have an episode where he gets older for some reason.
yeah. Oh yeah, yeah. We shot this in 2021. This 4.5 months ago. Magic.
No, O'Brien's kid.
No CGI involved. No, that'd be fun. So yeah, I'm excited. I'm hoping they're sort of 60, 70-minute episodes. I'm hoping because they had 2 years of delay, they were to massively amp up the visual effects quality because they had so much longer to post all the mod. Unlike Picard and Discovery, all of CGI models should be done, all the cities should be done. We had fighters, like so much polish in the visual effects that they had a feature length amount of time extra to the special effects. Think about it for a second. A bonus, and they were being paid. They didn't go on furlough. They were working from home. So they had 2 more years of production, give or take, for a season. So phenomenal, yeah.
Let's see, we got some last super chat snipers.
Fantastic,
we got
guys.
George
Six more dollars.
$1.
We'll say it. $6 more. We've hit our final. There's a number there. 6. Just saying.
George Mangrum with $1. Squadra Course with $1. George Mangrum with $1. And SPS Guru 2000 with €1, which actually kind of wins because it's higher than.
Yeah.
We'll see.
But yeah, no, excited for Orville. I feel like I'm going to have to rewatch at least a few episodes trying to get back into the world, though, because it's been a very, very long time. But boy, this is a year of sci-fi. We'll have Mandalorian, Boba Fett, 5 Star Treks, and Orville.
Mm-hmm.
And a Star Trek video game. Probably.
Mm-hmm.
And my fan films. Maybe? Yes. That's a lot of sci-fi shit. And no movies. I mean, there's probably some movies, but that's all just TV shows. Goodness. Wow.
Kit 10K, $10. Samuel, here's your 6 plus 4. SPS Guru 2000 puts in €666. Evil. Mark of the Beast, 10 done. Sweet. All right, guys, we're going to call it there. Thank you for joining us. Tune in tomorrow if you can for the Drunkyards.
Yes.
Get us drunk. Looking forward to seeing you then. And until then, I'm Captain Foley.
Thanks so much, everyone. I'm Connor Coggins, and artwork of us. Yeah, it's cool.